Yo, 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 this is DPS Podcast. That's Damage Per Second Podcast back on a Freaky Friday. I don't know. Look, we do a fine Thursday night typically, okay? And
Feeling
we
all right.
typically feeling all right, but we're on Friday, so my bad on that. That's on me. That was, I had work things to handle, and we are here. We're going to have a great show, episode 279. And let's just go ahead and get into it and start talking to the panel. What's up, Mr. Ramon Terrell? Actor, writer,
Extraordinaire.
extraordinaire. What's up, bro?
Well, first of all, I don't think to the audience, I don't think SloMo needs to be apologizing because the world went on DEF CON 5 and the top leaders all got together and they unanimously said, call in the backslap. And they had to call SloMo to bring everything back from the brink of destruction, and that's why that man had to postpone it from yesterday to today. So I think we should all just be thankful for the skills that have been exhibited, that we can still function as a normal society. That's it. Happy to see everybody. Happy to be here. Thank you so much. Thanks for everybody for joining in. It's been great week personally, hell of a week industry wise, but I mean, it seems like there's always a new wildfire to put out every week. So let's jump on it.
Cool, man.
Up on it.
What you been? Excuse me. What you been playing?
Excuse me. So I finally finished Cuphead in the DLC. It was awesome. Then I jumped into Onimusha Warlords. It's really funny to go back to games from the PS2 era. I mean, for its time, that game looks amazing. Like, I mean, I'm looking at it now, but it's funny because the max resolution is 1440p, right? So you see those little graphics, and I mean, I'm able to a degree step down, pretty far. So I had a good time. They updated it so you can either use the D-pad for tank controls or you can use 3D controls with the stick, which obviously I chose the latter. A lot of fun, pretty cool story. I mean, story is really straightforward, really basic, but even to be as old and dated as it is, that game is still really cool. So I had a good time with that. And then I'm drawing a blank. What the heck else did I play? Guacamelee. I finished that. I forgot last week.
Guacamelee.
Huh.
Yeah, I played the first Guacamelee over on GOG and finished that, and got annoyed because there's two endings. You have to collect everything in order to get the real ending, which means I get the real ending on YouTube because I ain't doing that mess. It always annoys me when they do that, so I'll just YouTube it. Sorry about that whale. That's my cat being a brat. And then played some Crimson Desert. This game has set a record for me because usually I tap out after about 40, 50 hours. I'm cruising close to...
How many hours in are you now?
I'm at 113 hours.
Wow.
And I'm still having a ball. I mean, the bosses are trash, but I mean everything else, like I'm just having a ball. Programmed some of the different movesets to my GameSir 8K G7 Pro. And that's been really nice for pulling out some extra combos and things like that. So I mean, that's been awesome.
Are you playing at 8K polling, or are you playing it at lower?
If you have to go in and lower it from 8K, that means I'm playing at 8K, which means I probably should go in and lower it.
I don't know. I can't remember if I lowered it from 8K. I feel like by default it's at 1,000.
Okay.
But honestly, 1,000 hertz polling is the sweet spot. That's really for most people all you need. The only people who really want to play at
Competitive.
8K are like they're playing competitive, esports kind of scene kind of thing. You don't really need 8K like that. I've yet to even try it at 8K. I might try it maybe tomorrow at 8K, in like Impulse or Black Ops 7, but I've been playing at 4K because it has the GameSir G7 8K has the option of 250, which why would anyone do that? 250,
Why would
500,
anybody do that? It's lower than a
500,
standard.
1,000, and 4K and 8K. And so but the thing is that I remember seeing reviews of the Razor Wolverine because I think the Razor Wolverine 3 8K is the first 8K controller that from like a bigger company. There may have been like a smaller company that did 8K before, but like no one else was really thinking about that until Razer did it. Um, and Razer's implementation was pretty poor, which should shock nobody. And but like what I remember from the reviews where people were saying, yeah, I mean, you could play at 8K, but like you need to have a really robust CPU to handle it because polling rate is essentially the controller updating the CPU on what you're doing. And the faster it goes, the more it's updating the CPU. It can get to the point where unnecessarily, especially if you're playing something that doesn't require, all that demand, or you're not actually pushing it like that, where polling the CPU too often, and if you have a mid to low range, low level CPU, you're actually going to be affecting the performance of the game at that point. That would be I mean, what's better here? Having 8K polling, but your frame rate gets dropped like 15 frames, 20 frames, or
Yeah.
dialing it down a little bit. So I've just never pushed it. Like I have a decent CPU. I have a Intel i7 13700K. Like it's no slouch, but I just never wanted to like I'm not going to do anything to impact my frames, especially when I'm playing something competitive. So I just kind of just stuck to 4K. And 4K has been freaking great. Like my performance is fine. The performance I have with the controller is fine. But that's why I asked because I just wondered how that was feeling to you. Because like I now can feel the difference between 1,000 and 4K. Because like, I have some other controllers that the max they do is 1,000 polling, and when I'll switch while doing a gaming session, I'll switch to the G7 8K and immediately feel the difference. So here's what it is.
Well, for me, I need to. You remind me. Actually, I need to go in and check because I remember saying to myself, I need to go in and because I was gonna drop it to like two or four, two or three or 4K because I had I can't remember who
It
told
doesn't do
me
two. It doesn't do. It'll do four. Like
it'll do
from
four.
1,000, it does only 1,000, 4K, and 8K. There are some
Okay.
controllers that will do 2. Like I have the Mojang or Big One, pause, whatever you wanna call them. The Storm, that one does a max of 2K, but that 2K is good. 2K is a good like anything 1,000 and higher is fine, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't even need 8K. The only reason I got this controller was not because it was 8K. I got it because I liked I like the sticks a little better. I like the that you can switch out some of the like the D-pad, and I like the hair triggers and some other stuff
Mhm.
that I'm gonna use. So, like, there were some things that I like better about it than the Cyclone 2 that I have, which I'm assigned the Cyclone 2 to my Switch 2. So that's gonna be my pro controller for my Switch 2.
Have you ha
Um,
ha oh, have you synced it with your Switch 2 yet?
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I
so
played.
have you
Go
been
ahead.
able to get it to wake the Switch too?
No, I didn't. It wouldn't wake the Switch 2, and I didn't bother trying to figure out if I could because I mean it's fine because all of my games are uh, physical anyway. So I have to
Mm.
put the card. I have to put the card in the Switch 2.
So you gotta get
So
up
I
anyway.
mean
Yeah.
I gotta get up anyway. So I mean it's not that big a deal. It's like I have to walk 6 feet,
Yeah. I
but
mean, with the Switch 2, I mean, like I have the dang, what is it called? The mobile pads on there, right?
yeah,
But
yeah, I remember you mentioned that. They look really nice.
yeah, yeah, they're awesome. But when I have it docked, there's two controllers I have that can actually, like, they're third party controllers that can actually do the wake function on the Switch 2, where you just press a button and it turns your controller on, it wakes the Switch 2 up, and then you can just get into it. Um,
Oh,
One of them sucks. Like, the only benefit to the controller is that it can wake it up. That's the Easy SMX S10. Outside of that, like, its Bluetooth latency is horrendous, and it is basically only usable on the Switch 2 if it's wired, and it's just like, at that point, why bother? Um, so that one's not that great, but the Gillakit TT Max is, I think, the best controller on the Switch 2. It The setup to make it wake it up, super easy. I've never had an issue with it. I just press the on button and everything turns on just fine. Um, GameSir has had a problem with that for some reason. Like, they just haven't been able to get that handshake wake up function to work with their controllers. They've just always had these issues. There's a Nintendo themed GameSir Supernova that I have, and GameSir swears up and down it will wake the Switch up. They even have a video showing it, but it's just like it's very hit or miss. And even now, I still see people saying, "Yo, this supernova isn't waking it up correctly." And
Only if we had somebody with the authority to make a video to showcase all these different features and
oh my
functions and
god,
things that's
you
not
know what? Let's
working.
move on. Let's move on. Let's move on.
It'll be great. It'd be
My
great.
bad. I interrupted you with all this controller talk. Go ahead and continue. Yeah, go ahead and
well,
continue,
it's my
man.
fault. It's my fault because I mentioned crack, and there's a crack addict in the video. I mentioned controller, and you're an addict, so it's my fault.
Here for the free.
But
I'm here for the free crack giveaway. Shout out to Dave
but
Chappelle. That was
lastly, lastly, I have not uninstalled Forza Horizon 6. I still grind my teeth every time a drivatar in a race uh, knocks me into a wall because they're on their path and they don't bother to do anything else. But everything else, like some of the patches have improved things. So I
mm.
mean, honestly, like
So they're
I've
addressing
gotten
some of the
used to.
issues that you've been having.
Yeah, like the sound. I noticed the sound is better.
Good.
Obviously the NPCs are trash and they always will be. The Drivatar AI is trash, as is the skills of the person who actually implemented them. They could have just lifted it straight from Forza Horizon 5, where they actually drive. But anyway, I'm not going to go on that rant. The game is fun. The game is beautiful. Um, those two hiccups. Well, it's only one major hiccup that actually affects the game because I can ignore the NPCs, but yeah, I really hope they can fix the drivatars because they're terrible. But other than that, I'm having a good time with it. And I will be the next game I fire up in between Crimson Desert and that one will be Pragmata. I got it for the summer sale. Well, it's not on sale on Steam, but I got it on Green, man.
Okay.
So yeah, I got the XP pack for an extra 3%, which is probably 50 cents, but it's already it's discounted like what, $15 or something like that. So
Nice.
something like that. So yeah, and so that's where I've been at.
Cool. Cool. Forte. What you been up to? What you been playing, man?
Uh, uh, uh. I been playing? I've been playing. Oh, I actually did pick up Adventures of Elliot.
Yeah, you said that last week.
Game's that game is actually. Oh yeah, I did tell you. Yeah, I finally played it. It's actually short, like really short. Like
Really?
shorter than I thought it was going to be. Like
Well,
I
that's
feel.
kind of disappointing.
Yeah, I hear it's a.
Well,
Yeah,
how short though? Like, because if it's like
like
15
I'm like
hours, I
nine. I'm
don't
like
care.
no. I'm like 8. I'm like 8 hours in, and I'm already doing in-game stuff.
What?
Yeah,
That's
it's short.
shocking.
It's real short.
And how
So
much is that game?
50.
All right, see, look, I never try to equate like length of a game with like the cost, but if you like under 10 hours, like I typically kind of like, I mean, 50 is not full price, but like 40 and down if you're under 10 hours is and I know that's like a personal thing for me. Like not everyone's gonna have the same idea about that, but I just like 8 hours and you're already about to you're an in game. That's shocking.
Yep.
Okay, I need to interrupt.
Yeah, go ahead.
So you're in end game after 8 hours. You said.
Yep.
You want to know how much it costs up here?
Oh man.
70.
Adventures of Elliot, $79.99 plus tax.
Yeah, that's wild.
Ain't no freaking way.
$10 per
I have it
hour.
in my wish list. I mean, like I'm the same. I don't equate price with length, but it's a nuance thing. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I equate quality over quantity, but you can have a game that, is 6 hours long that's absolutely amazing, but I'm not gonna spend $80 for a 6 hour game no matter how amazing it is, because there's nuance. There's nuance here. You know what I mean? It's one of many factors. But
So
yeah,
they say
$80.
so time to beat says 16 hours main story. And I'm about 9.
Okay, that's I can.
Okay,
16
that's a
hours
bit
is
better.
cool.
That's a bit better. But like, so
That's
did you just think you were at in game, but
It
you?
feels like I am.
That might
So
be a
it
different
could be.
concern.
Sutton said it took 40 hours to 100% the whole game for him.
Oh no,
Oh,
yeah. It says the 100% the whole game is 36 and a half hours.
and there's 3 endings.
There's 3.
Okay,
And
like
there's 3
Forte,
endings,
you that makes me feel a bit better.
Yeah,
Forte, you just got
yeah,
get more
Well, I'm
into
just
it,
gonna
man.
keep pushing. I just think it's where I am in the game. It does pick up a lot. So we'll see. But like I said, it says I'm about 8 hours and 53 minutes. So
Cool. Anything else?
oh no, mostly just that. And then after that it was the old faithful Battlefield, and jumped on a little bit of I was about to say Call of Duty. SloMo would have crucified me for not calling him if I would have said Call of Duty.
I mean, you still ain't called me for Battlefield, and you said you would. No,
do you have Battlefield?
Yeah, I own it.
Oh yeah, that's right. You own it. Okay.
I mean, like,
yeah, I have to.
this man got the controller and just like, yeah, I'm good now. I'm not gonna call nobody. I'm not gonna do nothing. I'm just gonna play the game.
Just out here dumping on people for a living now. It's crazy.
Oh man,
how big of a difference a controller can make. No, that's mostly it. I've been actually working a crap ton, and then redoing my basement since we had the flood and stuff. So I'm like redoing my floors and stuff. So that's kind of been a big chore for me this week. But nope, outside of that, that's pretty much it. What about you, bro? What you been doing?
Well, let's see. So I finally finished mixtape.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh dang! I forgot you were even playing that.
Yeah.
Right.
Man. Okay, I will give it credit for this. It got better near the end. Like some of the story beats really hit. The voice actors really, they put their work in. They really that might be the best part of the game outside of the music that people really enjoy is the voice acting is very good. Outside of that though, the game just sucks. It's boring. I had to make sure when I completed it that it was like a kind of like lull in work, and it was at a time period where I was very open and like awake to just power through. But for a game that's only like 3 to 4 hours, it felt like an eternity. So yeah, I definitely wasted my money on that. But hey,
Oh,
Annapurna, I like Annapurna. So I'm not going to knock them for this. That enjoy the funds you got for me. Hopefully next time the next game's better. Um, I also played a demo from a studio called Midgar Studio. They made this turn-based RPG called Edge of Eternity. And it's kind of interesting because they're also a French developer who has a affinity towards JRPGs, which nowadays everyone just thinks of like, you know, Expedition 33 and I can't remember the name of the developer, but yeah, that developer. And instead, like this French studio tried it first, didn't quite work out because Edge of Eternity is not that good of a game. But Edge of Memories is them kind of trying to do a different take with an RPG, but it's like an action RPG is more action focused. Like I see the vision, but this demo is really, really rough. Like the combat is a bit too basic. Um, it also has like really like stiff animations, which was a kind of a complaint that people had with Edge of Eternity as well. And then it just kept crashing on me in the demo. And then there were other little bug issues, like the characters would be speaking, and then like their mouths sometimes wouldn't move. And it's just like I get it, it's a demo, it's early times, it's going to have problems, but like when I'm about to get into a fight and then the game crashes, like those are typically like a lot of little things that really irk me and just make me want to uninstall. So I just uninstalled the demo. I'm good on it. It seemed
Yeah, I'm
interesting.
good.
Um, what else here? Hades 2, which is what you're seeing on the Jumbotron. I think I'm 100% a Hades 2 at this point. That's how
Oh,
how much I enjoy playing this game. And shout out to uh why am I can't remember devs names today. Shout out to the Hades devs.
super giant, super
Supergiant.
giant.
Yeah, Supergiant because the amount of content this game has, like, it is expansive. Like, once you complete the game, like with Hades 1, it was just like, I mean, you're still doing once you beat the game, you're still doing the same thing you've been doing. It's just, like you got different reasons for doing it, which it's okay. It's not amazing, but it's okay. They really, I mean, all the content isn't like drastically different or anything, but they have like trials. Like I showed like on the jumbotron showing me losing in one of these trials. Like they're really hard. Like they progressively get harder, and like the final four is like ridiculous because you only have like 30 health, and so you could basically you need to complete that entire biome without getting hit very often, which is extremely difficult. And so there's that. It's story based, so I don't want to spoil it, but there's like other things that you do where you can kind of complete certain subplots, storylines going on, and then though like those open up other content that you can do indefinitely, which is awesome. And I'm also kind of gotten into learning the other weapons that I pretty much ignored because they're a little weird, but I ignored them like the skull. I'm using the skull in the current gameplay on the Jumbotron. Like I hated it before, but I get the vision with it now. Like I now that I'm not like stressing about trying to complete runs, I'm like, all right, let me figure some of these other things out, and now I can really see the vision with all of them. So like, Hades 2 is fantastic. If you like roguelites, I think this is like literally the best roguelite ever. I don't know, it might be ever. It's
ever.
really good. It's really really good.
Man, I bought it on early access, tried it for about an hour, and I was like, okay, this is awesome. I'm gonna come back when I'm ready, and I still haven't gotten back to it yet.
You
I
need
need
to
to jump in.
you need to jump in. Did you ever beat Hades 1?
Yeah, I actually. It's funny because I remember talking to you about it. I was like, man, I ain't trying to beat this friggin'
Yeah,
game ten
it was
times. Blah
the
blah
was it
blah,
the snake?
and I did it.
It was the
Um,
snake was
yeah,
yeah,
the Hydra,
the
the
Hydra. That's it.
Hydra.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, dude. So the it was, well, the Hydra, and there was one other. I'm trying to remember. I mean, Hades himself had some cheap moves, but the Hydra, and then until I figured out how to beat that punk who shows up with the Minotaur. I can't
Mm,
remember his name, but that punk that
yeah,
shows up with the Minotaur
yeah,
and talks
yeah,
all that smack, and
yeah.
he's like
Yeah,
the weakest little.
he's a gladiator or something. He's a famous
Yeah,
glad. I can't remember.
he's like a legendary famous
Yeah, I
gladiator,
can't
but
remember
in
which
the
one.
game,
He's funny though
yeah, like
because like as you beat him, that's what I love about Hades, right? Because like
he gets more
the
angry.
dialogue is so extensive. Like you
It
literally
is. It
need
really
to
is.
do like 5,000 runs to finally exhaust the dialogues. Like
Yep.
that one guy you're talking about, like he's so cocky, but as Zachary's keeps beating him, he starts to get
Oh, dude,
really
yeah.
irate. Like you run up in there, and he's just like, "I'm not letting you get past me. This is ridiculous." Like it's so funny. And
Yeah,
and
he really is.
there's a minotaur. There's a not a minotaur. There's a giant, a one-eyed giant. Um, he's kind
A
of
one-eyed
famous because he's like I think he's in the Odyssey. I can't remember which Greek.
Cyclops? You're talking about Cyclops?
Cyclops, there we go. He's a Cyclops, yeah. So
Yeah.
there's the Cyclops that's I guess famous for something. I can't remember. I can't remember Greek mythology like that, so sue me. But he's in this. And when you first meet him, he's all like he's so excited to kill Zachary's sister Menaway.
Oh, okay.
And
I was like, I didn't know the Cyclops. You're talking about Hades 2 now.
yeah, Hades too. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And he's like so excited to kill her and eat her, and as you keep beating him, because you when you beat him, she doesn't kill him, she knocks him out, and then after a while, he's just like he's excited to see her because he's still like he looks at it as it's a win-win situation because he has like sleep issues. So she's knocking him out. So like he's like, yeah, it's fine. You know, you beat me and then I get a good sleep. I haven't had a good night's sleep, you know, when you're not around. But if I actually get a chance to kill you, I get to eat you. So it's just like for him, it's just like, hey, this is there's no downsides to
Oh man.
this. It's funny. It's funny. Like it's there's that and there's like other subplots for some of the other characters. They got whoever the dude is that gave humans fire and then the gods punished him by tying him to a tree.
Prometheus.
We say
Prometheus.
Prometheus. Yes, Prometheus is
Prometheus.
in this. His character design is dope. Like he looks really cool. It's just a great game. It's just a great game. Let me not gush on Hades 2 anymore. I've been playing Impulse. I have I think I have come to the realization this game is not going to be successful. I'm gonna keep playing it, but like I look at this kind of like how I looked at Rogue Company, where it didn't matter to me that the game was not going to be a huge success and that a lot of people wouldn't play it because I'm enjoying it, so I don't care. But I understand that there's going to come a
That's
point in time where there's going to be a social media message like, hey, gave it
a
the
shame.
we gave it the big all our effort. You know, we gave it the hoorah, whatever you want to call it. We tried our best, but
Nice
yeah,
try.
we're gonna have to shut this down. It's going to come eventually. It came out in early access, and in early access, it I think it had less than 5,000 people on Steam playing it, and so
Damn.
yeah.
That's rough.
And you know, I kind of figured it was going to be like that because it's not a game that I think is very casual friendly. Like learning the movement and getting good at the movement. Like I still run into players that are primarily just playing on the ground, and I'm just like, that's not going to be how you that may be fine for and it's skill based matchmaking. So you're running into people that you're gonna run into people who are on your skill level, but when the community is so small, you're also gonna run into a lot of people who you really shouldn't even be in a lobby with. And so when that's the case, you need to learn the movement and get better at being, airborne. And people, maybe they're new, I don't know, which like games just came out in early access this week, so everyone's somewhat new, but it's not. I can't see people really sticking with it for too long. They've already put out a patch and nerfed aim assist on PC for a controller, but kept it the same on console. Because the typical mouse and keyboard losers who
The mouth breeders.
yeah, they're losers. I guess I gotta be honest. They just complain and whine about aim assist, and then it's all because they have the quote unquote superior control options, input option, and it's like, if it's so superior, what's your problem? You shouldn't be having these issues, right? What I do requires skill. Okay, well, show it. But then they complain about aim assist, and then when you point out, if aim assist is so strong, why don't you use it so that you can win? And then they go, they resort to essentially, ha ha, we got your aim assist nerve kind of talk. So it just goes to show, it's the thing that I see in every multiplayer game that has a competitive scene, is that there are people who, and they know it works. They do it because they know it works. They whine to devs to get things nerfed that they don't like, to help them be more successful. It's not really about what's fair, or it's about trying some kind of equality when it comes to inputs being used in games, and crossplay has to happen. Like, the idea that they can just stop doing crossplay is ridiculous. It's just not going to happen. They need crossplay. Every game that comes out in 2026 that has live service or is multiplayer needs crossplay to be successful. Period. So asking for crossplay to get turned off just shows that your brain isn't on. So it's just like, eh, these people just they. I saw this back on the Division 1 like a decade ago, where people would have beg Ubisoft and Massive Entertainment to nerf builds that they didn't like, because in the Dark Zone, people were bodying them with those builds. And then they just kept the entire Dark Zone scene essentially having one way to play the game for the most part. And which is also reason why I never did videos back then or showed anything about the builds I was using, because I didn't want people to see what I was using, start using it as well, and then people start whining about it and get it nerfed, because that's just what happened all the time. So it is what it is. It happens in every game. But the more I'm glad they were at least smart enough not to nerf console aim assist, because if they nerf console aim assist, this game would be dead sooner, because it would just definitely not have any support from consoles whatsoever. And even now, I think they got some hurdles to deal with, because they had some issues getting the game certified on PlayStation 5 for in early access, and so it's only out on PC and Xbox right now. It's not even on PlayStation. It's a massive community that they could have to help increase their numbers, but they don't have that right now. So yeah. What else? What else? A little bit of Black Ops 7, not too much. I haven't been playing that much lately with that. And I think I'm gonna get started with Morbid Metal finally. So that, and I'll get started on Pragmata this weekend. So I'll have more thoughts on those two next week. But okay, you guys ready to get into these rapid fire topics?
You know it.
Let's go.
All right, let's do it.
Oh, really? Oh, really?
So let's start off with some somber news, something to just want to get this out the way. Ubisoft co-founder Claude Guillemot was killed in a plane crash in France last week. He was 69 years old. His brother is the other Guillermo, that we all know is the CEO of the company. Very, very sad news. Yeah, condolences to him and his family, the Guillermo family, of course. I'm not quite sure how this affects Ubisoft. He is the co-founder, but again, his brother was the one that is the CEO. And with the way that Ubisoft is structured now, I'm not sure how involved he was with the day-to-day stuff. But any thoughts on this, gentlemen?
Well, I mean, it goes without saying, condolences to his family. I mean, you know, it's terrible. A plane crash. I mean,
Yeah, they
it's not
said
really much.
they were saying he was learning how to fly, I guess, and
Oh,
it was
oh
yeah. So
man,
it was like a little
damn.
That's
Cessna or something
sucks.
like that. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
Man,
those
yeah,
aren't
I
easy,
can't,
bro.
I can't even imagine. I just can't imagine. Just yeah, condolences to the family and friends and everybody. It's just,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
unfortunate.
yeah. Um,
When did this happen?
this happened.
it was a couple days ago.
You know,
Like
Okay.
2 days ago.
I think it happened last weekend. I think I
Oh, it was
remember.
last week.
hmm I feel
Dang.
like it was something I remember seeing it on Sunday, last Sunday. So it had to have happened. Yeah, it had to have happened over the weekend.
Man, people doing well, I mean, flying a plane isn't extreme as driving a car real fast, but it's like when you have to be it's like super extra careful when you start doing curriculum activities that are not what you do on a day-to-day basis. Like, everybody drives on a day-to-day basis, but that don't mean you need the speed.
Right.
But then flying planes, not everybody flies planes. So it's like you got to respect that stuff. And no one really, we don't know exactly what happened, if any faults were anything like that. It could be mechanical. It's just the fact that, it just kind of reminds you that in this world we are very, very small individuals that basically go through time, and you never know when it happens. So rest in peace to him. But it's just crazy to see people just be here 1 minute and then just boom.
Yeah.
And it happens every day. So
Right. Well, I
happens every
mean,
day.
accidents happen every day. I guess like when you
Yeah,
mentioned
I'm
like
saying
car
accidents happen every
crashes,
day.
it's like car crashes happen all the time. The thing with car crashes is that like the way cars are built now, where they kind of like they're built to protect the passengers and kind of collapse, they absorb impact and collapse like the body and stuff. It's just there's so many ways that they've learned now to kind of help protect humans and people still die from car crashes, but there's a good chance that you walk away from it.
Yeah, I mean, I walked away from mines with a broke leg, but I did.
Right. And the difference though with plane crashes is that more than likely, if a plane crashes, like you're kind of cooked. Like it's just,
You out of
uh,
here. Yeah, you
yeah.
out of here.
Especially if it happens early in the flight, because then it has all the gas in there. Well, not gas, but jet fuel,
Fuel.
and
Yeah.
and that then it becomes a big explosion kind of thing. I don't know if those are the details of that crash. We're just kind of just talking at this point, but sorry, condolences to the Guillermo family once again, and we can go ahead and move on to the next one. I don't
Okay.
want to,
A lot of gas. A
yeah,
lot of fossil. A lot of dinosaurs were, on those planes.
You're
Fossil
going in an
fuel.
interesting direction, Forte.
yeah,
Fossil fuel.
yeah. I have no idea where he's going. uh,
Hey, a
so
lot of dinosaurs were taken
I
out
feel
back
like
to make these
I feel
planes
like you're
fly.
channeling Jeff Goldblum right now.
That,
yeah,
you know
There's
what?
fossil
That's
fuels. Yes, yes,
fossil. Yes, yes,
yes.
yes,
Lots
yes. A
of
lot of
explosion.
dinosaurs
Yes, yes,
gave their lives for
yes.
these planes to
Dinosaurs,
fly.
fossils everywhere. Yes.
You know what? You do that pretty well.
anyway, freaking laughing after we just talked about some dude dying in a plane
Booking.com.
crash. So, Quantic Dream. Quantic Dream has been going through some major issues. I'm showing gameplay of Detroit Become Human. Shout out to a person in the community who gifted this game to me because I had it on my wish list. He just decided to be generous.
Oh, that's why I saw you playing it today. Yeah. I noticed you.
I've actually played this on PlayStation 4 when it first came out, and I played it on PC through Epic Game Store. But I wanted it on Steam just so I could have Steam achievements for it. And I guess it's on sale right now. Someone gifted it to me, so appreciate you. Shout out to Morty for doing that. Quantic Dream, though, this is the last game they've released. It's been a long time since Detroit Become Human. That came out the same time as God of War 2018, like a month before God of War 2018. And unfortunately, Quantic Dream has not released any game since then. So it's going on 8 years, and it might be longer or not at all, considering what's been going on. So the developers at Quantic Dream have gone on strike, and management is considering laying off the entire 115 dev team that's working on Star Wars Eclipse, which is a little bit out of their wheelhouse. It's not your typical kind of Telltale kind of game that Quantic Dream has done in the past. It's supposed to be a little bit different, but the game's been in development hell, and the devs say they are severely understaffed. Now, a group from Lucasfilm was set to review the game today. So we might have some news next week on how that turned out, considering that the team has not been working because they've been on strike. The team has not been working on the game for nearly a month. Now, if you guys remember what happened with Aspire and the Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic remake, Lucasfilm reviewed the game, didn't like what they saw, and Aspire wasn't working on the game no more. So, Forte, what are your thoughts about this? What do you think is going to happen with Quantic Dream in this Eclipse game?
When was the last really good game that they made?
The one I'm showing right now, Detroit Become Human.
and that's crazy because I remember that was 2017, 2018.
You were not listening to me at all. I literally just said this.
Oh, I didn't hear you say the date. But I just say because I remember my daughter, I remember her sitting in there playing it like 15 times over and how much she loved it. And my youngest daughter just beat Detroit Become Human not too long ago because she finally went through and did a playthrough of it. It's hard out here, man. I don't know. It's like the way that these corporations are moving, the way that these it's like it's been so long since they had a standout game. It's like, what games are actually going to make it to actually release? It's like it almost feels like at a certain point, companies are getting to what they want to say, we got to cut our losses now. Like, we rather cut our losses because we feel like we're not going to make more money than we're going to spend in finishing what we're doing. If you know what I mean. It's like, we're a good way.
They're not going to make their money back, essentially.
Yeah. Well, they're not going to make their money back no matter what, but they already know they're not going to make their money back. But then you start doing the cost analysis of how much longer is it going to take to finish this versus how much is it going to cost for us to pay people to keep making it to get it to that point. It's like the sucking cost fallacy. It's like, yeah, we put a lot of money in, but how much more money got to go in before we start recouping money? And if we feel like our estimates are being lower than what it's going to cost to keep, putting more development dollars, not just in making the game, but just paying developers and everything to actually be on staff to do it, that's where it gets kind of tricky. And I don't think a lot of people think about little things like that. Like, you want to think, about you know, we talked about it last week with like Xbox and everything, like with some of the studios that, you know, they haven't come out officially said it, and we haven't got the memo yet, but with the rumor of the studios they're letting go, you know, we saw Senua, and it was like, yo, this looks pretty good, and it's in a direction that we think we wanted to go in. But you know, how far along is that versus, you know, how much longer, how much time got to be put into it? I still think it's a bad decision on what they're doing, because I think that studio still got a lot of value to it. But you know, you got to make the dollars, and you know, the bean counters got to make the dollars make sense. And by the time that releases, because they didn't put a date on it, and by the time that releases, how much more money are they going to sink into it before they just want to move off of it or have somebody else pick up the dime to finish the rest of it? So that's kind of where I am with this. And it's just, that's why I asked what was the last big game they did. And then you confirmed it, which was Detroit Become Human. And even that game didn't like set the world on fire. Like it was really good. I enjoyed, I never played it myself, but I enjoyed watching people go through it and do playthroughs. It was during the time that I was watching people on Twitch a lot, and watch some people stream it on Twitch and go through all the different endings and everything. So it was definitely a game that was very, very well received, but it still didn't sell like, you know, most of these corporations want them to sell. And that's kind of what they're looking at now. They're looking at your portfolio, they're looking at what you are outputting. And if you are not outputting on a scale of, you know, that can not just make the money back, but kind of, you know, do a little bit more than that, then you're kind of on the block a little bit. Not saying they are, but that's kind of the
Well, no, I
sense
mean,
of
I think
everything that's
that
going
that's
on right
likely the
now.
case. I mean, like
No, I
they
think it
haven't
is,
released a
but I don't
game in
want to.
8 years,
Well, you don't want
and
to put that energy out there just in case it doesn't. But you know, but that's like I said, but that's the whole thing. Like they haven't done anything to like bring money in, and people aren't going to just keep giving you money to make something, and you're not recouping anything.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I think when I got a little concerned when, so like I was excited when they first showed off the teaser trailer for Eclipse, because I was like, oh wow, Quantic Dream is doing a Star Wars game. I'm like, dope. Okay, I want to see Detroit Become Human, but in the Star Wars universe. Like that's something that hasn't really been done before, where it's more of like a telltale kind of thing where your choices matter, and it's like, you know, a lot of interesting dialogue and characters and whatnot. But just in the Star Wars universe, I'm with it. And then I found out it wasn't going to be that kind of game. It was going to be kind of a little bit more action oriented. And I was like, but you don't do that. It's like you don't. So I'm not saying that developers can't go outside their wheelhouse. They can, but it takes a certain approach. It takes a very strong studio culture to kind of keep what your culture ingrained in what you're good at, while also conveying that value and that quality to a different kind of genre. But most developers can't do that, and so seeing that they were in development hell, to me just kind of like, I mean, I don't have any additional information, but to me it makes me feel like they probably should have just did what they normally done, like Heavy Rain, like Beyond Two Souls, like Beyond, like Detroit Become Human, just in the Star Wars. Like that would have been. Is it unique in general? No, but it's unique for Star Wars because no one else has done that in Star Wars yet. You're doing an action-oriented Star Wars game, yeah, but we got that before. Like I played Unleashed. You know, like I
Hmm.
don't need to play your version of Unleashed, and you've never made these kind of games. So there's going
Yeah.
to be that learning experience that you need to figure out that other developers have already figured out, and gamers aren't going to be patient with you when you're like you didn't know that, hey, and how you should implement parrying in the game should be a certain kind of way. Now your parry doesn't quite work right. Well, people are just going to be like, well, why are you making this kind of game anyway? So it's I hope things turn out well, but considering that they haven't been working on the game in a month, they're on strike, Management's talking about laying the entire you lay off the entire team. I hope they got something else in the tuck. I hope they're working on other projects. Because if not, your studio's basically done. You're cooked. Because if you're not working on anything else, how are you bringing money in? You haven't released a game in 8 years. So I get if you do that, you're basically saying the game's canceled. But if you don't have anything else going on, your studio is done too. So I just, I like their game. I think David Cage is a little bit of a weirdo. I like their games, but I would much rather they still stick around and still make games than not be here. Ramon, what are your thoughts on this?
Man, like I I like quantic dream games. I mean, my first one was Indigo Prophecy, and then Heavy Rain, which it had its issues, but it was decent. I enjoyed Beyond Two Souls a lot more than a lot of other people. In fact, I
I
loved
liked it
Beyond
too.
Two Souls.
I liked it too. Yeah.
Yeah, I really liked it. And then Detroit Become Human. It's like with the exception of Heavy Rain, every game has gotten was better than the last.
I
So
would I would say well, Heavy Rain came out before Beyond Two Souls.
yeah, but it
Yeah.
came out after Indigo Prophecy.
Oh, true, 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 true. I never played Indigo Prophecy, so my bad. Like you,
I enjoyed
go ahead.
it. Oh, no, I enjoyed Indigo Prophecy. Heavy Rain was, I mean, I finished it, so I thought it was good enough to finish. So it was decent, but with the exception of Heavy Rain, every game, in my opinion, has been better than the last. So they obviously, been improving, and it's like a rock and a hard place because on the one hand, those type of games aren't the ones that sell boatloads, right?
Hmm.
But at the same time, like when I mean, you already said it, when you step into not only a completely different genre but one that incorporates combat physics and like environmental reaction and all of these different things, like you got to research you know the recoil for guns so that you can make it feel correctly, the impact, your impact physics, and all of these things that are out of your wheelhouse, which, like you say, I mean, you already said it, all those things obviously can be done. You can go outside of your comfort zone, which you want to stretch, but you have to have a team. you know Basically, you already said it. I mean, you have to have a team that is tight enough to be able to go through those growing pains together and come out the other side of it. And as if that wasn't a big enough challenge as it is, they're tackling a Disney IP. I don't know if Disney's licensing fee is on a sliding scale depending on the size of the studio.
Well,
Knowing
it's on a sliding scale depending on the size of the IP.
the size
So
of the IP. Okay.
so
Okay.
like for example, I know for a fact that Indiana Jones did not cost Microsoft as much as Spider-Man cost Sony. Because
Yeah. Okay.
clearly Spider-Man's a much bigger IP than Indiana Jones is. So, it's kind of like that. And when it comes to Star
Okay. Okay.
Wars, you pretty much got a good idea of how much like that would cost licensing fees and stuff like that.
So they're tackling a very expensive licensing fee on top of going into a genre that they don't do. Then they have this strike going on and threatening to lay off. I don't know if that threat is to get people back in and to stop striking. I don't know, but one way or the other, if they lay off the entire team, oh man, what a mess. I don't know. Like, that just sounds really bad. And if they don't have something that Disney, when they come in and check it out, if Disney doesn't like what they see, and even if Disney does like what they see, they're gonna look over to the left field and be like, "Okay, yeah, this looks good, but why is your whole team? Your whole team is on strike. Like, when is this? When is this? when is this game going to come out? You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
that's the other thing is they're going to be like, even if it looks good, yeah, looks great. Well, where's your team? Why isn't your team working? You're
Yeah.
on strike. Why?
Yeah.
How long before this game comes out? So
And
it's just a
and
bad
I
situation.
don't want to be super doom and gloom on it. Maybe they say, hey, our team's on strike because we what you've given us to budget isn't enough for us to complete the project. And maybe even though it's been in development hell, what Lucasfilm sees they like. And so maybe that this ends up being a case where um, this information is coming out now as a means to kind of galvanize the gaming community into saying, "Hey, we don't want this game to die. We don't want this game to get canceled." And then if they really like what they saw, they actually provide more money. Because I'm assuming when developers say we're understaffed and we have a difficult time of it. They're not saying that because they want more money or anything like that. Like getting more employees isn't going to make their financial situation better. It's about completing the project. So if that's the case, I wonder if like Disney actually provides what they need in order to get this game out the door because the game hasn't been in development for 8 years. It's been 8 years since they've released the game. I can't remember when Eclipse was first shown, but like more than likely, considering it was a teaser trailer, they had nothing to actually show us at that time anyway. So who knows how long it's been in actual full on development. That's it. I think it's pretty much kind of a long shot that it continues on, but I'm hopeful because I would like to see it come out. I It being your more traditional Quantic Dream game, that's or it getting transitioned into that, I think if that was on the table, that would get the game canceled. Because I've seen multiple reboots of games where it goes well over budget because it's already kind of like behind schedule. Trying that ends up becoming like a Fable Legends kind of situation where it's just what they ended up at was good, but it took too long to get there and it cost too much money. And then the studio and the game got shut down. So, kind of hope that isn't what happens here, but we'll have to see. Um, Anything else you guys want to say on this before we move on?
That's it.
All right.
Oh, really? Oh, really?
We got some Halo news, and I got the wrong freaking foot. Why is this? Why is this happening to me? Wait, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. I got it. There it is. Um,
343's fault. You had the wrong footy.
I blame 343.
So we had a little Halo campaign evolved controversy over the past week, and I'm just gonna summarize it real quick, and then we can also talk into a rumor that a known leaker has put out there. So there was a big controversy going on about split screen co-op. There's always a controversy with Halo and 343/Halo Studios and split screen for whatever reason, but it was initially stated by Halo Studios that PlayStation 5 players would need to have both an Xbox account and a PlayStation Plus account. And that's for both players playing in split screen in order for that to work, which in itself is just sounds ridiculous to me. But this led to plenty of people on social media, making up their own narratives, making up their entire storylines on reasons why this is the case, pointing the finger at PlayStation, pointing the finger at Xbox, pointing the finger at the gamers, just whoever on whose fault this is. But turns out the entire time it was just a typo. They didn't mean PlayStation Plus. They just meant a PlayStation account, now a Plus account. And everyone who made up reasons why this was the case just looked silly. Regardless, I think it's silly that any in split screen, any second player would need to have a separate Xbox account and PlayStation account in order to play in split screen. It's local split screen. Like, what are we doing here? That's just stupid to me. But regardless, there's that. And then there is known leaker Ecstasis. I think that's how I was. I think a Brazilian leaker. He's leaked a lot of accurate information in the past. He claims that Halo's multiplayer future is pretty extensive, that they have been working with Certain Affinity, and Certain Affinity is a support studios that's worked with them for a very, very long time on Halo projects. There is a project called Project Accor, which is a reboot of the Battle Royale that Certain Affinity was working on back for Halo Infinite, but now it's been rebooted in Unreal Engine 5, and it's less of a traditional battle royale like they were initially working on, and it's become more of an extraction shooter. So, Forte, what are your thoughts on this, man?
Yes. I'm tired. I'm so tired. Like, well, first of all, everybody wants to run with a narrative as soon as, if there's a way for you to be first, everybody's going to try to be first to it, even if the information is inaccurate, even if it's something that you should take a wait and see approach to see. Because guess what? You don't get clicks if you wait and see, unfortunately. Unless you're a big person already, then you can take those liberties and do that. But when it comes to just the situation with, like, some people said it was a lot of people are saying that, well, they changed their mind due to public pressure, and I just honestly believe, and we get Microsoft to smoke all the time on here, especially if we feel like they did something wrong. I just felt like this was just a typo, literally. I literally feel they just, when they was putting the blog post up, they were putting in that you need these different things, and it was just kind of a copy and paste thing. People don't realize that when it comes to online features on a paid game, you have to have your own live account. It's literally, even now, yeah, because you have to have your own live account. Now, that doesn't mean you have to have, like, if you're playing split screen on your TV at home, because I think that was the biggest thing. Like, if you're playing split screen at home, you could still be able to play without it. But a lot of people just forget that, when we played, what was it? Minecraft Dungeon, which is a co-op game. And when I played split screen with my daughter at home, and I played with you and B Money, and we were playing. No, we were playing with Eric Jackson. Take that back. And we were playing. You guys had to pay for it, but my daughter didn't, because she just, hacked onto my Xbox and was able to play with me that way. So it's always been a situation where if you're playing on one console, you don't have to. You just have to have an account. And some people just take that and runs like, oh, now you got to make an account. Like, dude, making an account is free. Yeah, it's free. It's irritating, because if you ever, and I'm talking from a retail point of view, because if I want to trade in an Xbox, which I found a hack around, but I used to have to make an account just to boot the system back up to make sure everything works on it. But there's ways around that now. But if you want to play a game, everybody has to have their own account, because it does your saves and stuff that way. It ties to your saving, to your profile account and everything. So I just think it was just a misquote that they put into the article or into the description, man, of what it was.
This is what I'm saying. Back in the day, when we played Halo on original Xbox, when you played co-op, it just be whatever, it would be whatever your gamer tag is, but
yeah, and a guess,
but a one or guess beside their name. Like, they didn't have that. They didn't need an account.
Account active users. That's all it is.
Okay, so it's about them. It's about them.
That's all it's about. It's all about active
so it's
users.
An inconvenience it's an inconvenience to the gamer for something that's basic. Like, local split screen so that you can count another active user.
But guess what? This is the only thing I'm gonna defend. I'm gonna defend this part of it because you're right. It is a simple thing. But when you're talking about marketing dollars, because when you're talking about marketing dollars, that one little thing makes a lot of money for these companies when it comes to like what they see on the homepage. Because even if you just have a person logging in under your account as an active user, you playing co-op with you, they take that data to whoever wants to do marketing on the front page of the Xbox or let's say the PlayStation platform or Steam itself. They take that number, and that number governs how much they can charge people to do it. Now, at the end of the day, we don't care about that because we're just trying to play the game and trying to have the best experience possible. And we're trying to have least barriers of entry. But being a person that's in the subset of understanding what businesses need to do to make money, that is one small sacrifice to have you log in and make an account that you don't have to pay for. You just have to log in to make an account so you can access this feature to be able to play it with other people for free that they can monetize on the back end. Because the other course of action is the things that we don't want, where they start like they've been doing the testing of putting advertisements and stuff in your games and stuff like that, where we already got enough of that by having, Coca-Cola, inside of a game, and they pay for this perfect spot that's sitting on the desk. And guess what? That Coca-Cola can look really, really crisp. You know why? Because they paid for that to be there. So that's what I'm saying. So I agree with everybody. It is something that is simple and something that we used to have an abundance of. But as soon as the internet became mature to the point where anybody and everybody can access it, and you have unlimited potential in how you can reach consumer, this is a small price to pay to put in an email address and a password that you don't got to pay for. Okay. So that's the only thing I'll say about it.
Okay, so everything you said is accurate. But let's look at it in realistic, real world terms.
Yep.
Less than 5% of the people who are going to play this game are going to play it with local split screen co-op, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to the people who will use this is likely going to be a parent and their child, or a parent and a relative, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
What if they don't have an email address? What if the child doesn't have an email address? What if what if now it's you, the main person of the main account, who has to stop what you're doing, go pick up your phone, create a Microsoft account, then also create a PlayStation account for your child that doesn't even own a PlayStation. They're just playing this with you. Guess what's going to happen? Most people just aren't going to do it. That's just the long and short of it. It's free is one thing. The time I'm wasting doing this instead of actually playing the game.
You can do it right on the system.
It's still taking time instead of playing the game.
Slow-mo. I get what you're saying.
And you know how this stuff works. It's not going to be seamless. It's not going to be seamless on the system.
I do.
So it is a hassle, not because it costs money. It's a hassle because it takes time, and it's going to test people's frustration, and there are going to be people who just be like, I'm just not going to do it. So when there's all these barriers, and am I blaming Microsoft? No. Am I blaming Sony? No. More than likely, both of them saying that you need to have this is both of them equally annoying the gamer.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. 100%.
They both want it. They both want to count your child playing local co-op, Halo with you, and the kid don't even know how to use the thumbsticks right.
Because that 5% that you were talking about, SloMo, on $1 million, on a game that sells 1 million, is still 5,000 people that they can count. And guess what? 5,000 people. I always tell people, break it down to a term that you can understand. If you were sitting in an auditorium with 5,000 people in front of you, that's a lot of people. Just like if you, like I tell people, talk about their views on YouTube and stuff like that. I say, bro, if you got 10,000 subscribers and even like 5% of your viewer base watches you, that's a lot of people. If you look at it from the canvas of, I'm standing here overlooking all of these people. Yes, in the grand scheme, when you're looking at all of these different metrics and stuff out there, like millions and millions and stuff, it doesn't look impressive. But 5,000 on top of whatever else you are, like on top of your monthly average users across whatever games you're playing, that stuff adds up. And they're going to inconvenience, like, listen, these companies,
you say it right. They're going to inconvenience you.
These companies are going to inconvenience you to make that little extra money. And if it's 5,000 people in this game, it might be 3,000 in this game, and then over the course of all of these games across all these games across the platform, that 5% adds up on every game, and then next thing you know, you got 200 million people, or not 200 million people.
No, stop it.
You got like you got like 200,000 extra accounts that aren't tied to Xbox Live accounts that you're counting monthly.
But
so it looks very small when you look at it on the level of it just being one game.
If you have to get someone to create an account to play local co-op with you, guess how many times this person is actually going to use that account? Almost none. Once, one time. And so when it comes to keep counting monthly active users, you're not going to see them be an active number in that going forward.
But there's other games that come out all the
time.
They're
not going to play them.
But it's slow-mo. It's not about, see, this is the thing. Monthly active users isn't just about this one game. It's about the totality of the
Forte,
whole
they're
year.
not playing the other games.
Yes.
They're not going to play the other games because they just created an account.
No, slow-mo, listen, you may not, so you and your son, you do it one time, maybe twice in a month. You don't ever do it again. But guess what? Every month or every day, there is someone new coming into the ecosystem to replace you. That number doesn't
that's not my point.
That drastically. No, but that's what I'm saying. That's what it's about, though. Ultimately, they're seeing in order for them to want to do it this way, it has to be tangible for them to do it. Because if it wasn't, they wouldn't even.
No, that logic doesn't work. That logic doesn't work. They do illogical, stupid stuff all the time. That doesn't make any sense. And then they admitted after the fact that they should have did XYZ. So saying, well, if it didn't make sense, they wouldn't do it, doesn't work because they do stuff that don't make sense all the time. What I'm saying is that getting some 8-year-old kid or someone who's going to play local co-op to create an account that they're never going to use again. Maybe they do use it again, it'll be in the future, and they decide, oh, maybe I'll get a console, and then they try to put their email address, and it's like, oh, you already have one, you already have an account. That was 5 years ago. Oh, okay, I guess I already have an account. It's pointless.
Would you agree that the fact that there are so many games out there, and there are so many people that are doing things like I said, it's not a lot of people, but it's like, when you look at it over the breadth of all of Xbox Live or all of PSN, it's a lot of people that add up to that number. That number ebbs and flows every month. It could be 200,000 this month. It could be 180,000 the next month. But the question is, do you have a consistent buffer of people that you're attaching a MAU to take to these advertisement firms that's going to give you money based on what they see month over month? And it doesn't matter if your kid logged in one time in the last 3 months. Someone else's kid did it for the first time this month. And that's what, and like I said, that is the cold, hard fact and truth of why these companies don't care about you, because all you are is a number.
And this is why they
spreadsheet.
continue to fail.
Well, not all of them fail.
Sony failing that live service, Microsoft failing in general, or Xbox failing in general.
Well, whoa. Microsoft's failing in general because of going an entire generation with 3 first-party studios and acting like they didn't know what the heck they were doing.
Okay, that was a decade ago. They still failing with 40 studios.
Listen, but their fate was sealed in 2017 when they decided to say, "Oh, now we want to spend money." And it went completely the wrong way with doing it.
There's about 24 stupid decisions they've made since then.
Yeah, because they all
their failures today. No, we're not gonna blame their failure on something they did in 2017. Their failure. That's where it started. That's not where it ends.
I didn't say nothing about that's where it ends. I didn't say that's where it starts.
Well, you're the one bringing up a decade ago. I'm telling you,
no.
They're failing today because of the decisions that happened sooner than 2017.
When they made dumb decisions in 2017, like saying Xbox Game Pass. All the games you get in Game Pass are day one, day and date. That was literally the first issue. That was probably the main issue because you taught your whole console base that they don't have to pay for games anymore. And then you talk about in year-over-year metrics like why is spending on Xbox down? Guess what, geniuses? You told everybody they ain't have to buy games anymore. And then on top of that, you doubled down and said, you don't even need an Xbox. You can play on a Fire Stick or you can play on your freaking TV. And guess what? No, on top of that, everything's an Xbox. Your PlayStation, that's an Xbox too, even though they didn't make a video on it. But yeah, everything's an Xbox. But guess what? You can play Game Pass. You can do it here. You can do it there. You can do it everywhere. You can pick up a tablet and play Game Pass on that. Oh, you got a computer?
Everything you're saying is what they said sooner than 2017, and that's my point.
No, I said, but that's where it all started, though. It's like this this domino effect that led us all the way to where we are now. When in 2021, 2022, Phil Spencer's out there telling people we only talking about 4 games.
Okay.
You know why we only talking about 4 games, SloMo? Because people on Xbox wasn't buying our games. They were playing them in Game Pass, and our Game Pass subscription wasn't going up because of the dumb promises we made in 2017 by saying we want to have a AAA game every quarter.
Forte.
And knowing they couldn't hit that number until they got the studios in line.
Forte.
Which they still ain't done. I'm done. Go ahead, SloMo. I'm done. I'm done. Listen, I love you because you know what? You're right. I'm not saying you aren't right. You are right in everything you said. But at the end of the day, there is someone to replace the person that is not doing what you're saying that no one is doing. There's always a replacement. It may not be a lot of replacements, but there's a replacement. I want to hear what Ramon got to say about this because we done talked a lot. Ramon, tell us what you think about all this craziness and what's happening in this sector that we're talking about, sir.
Okay,
I might have gave you we might have gave you brain rot during all this thing.
Well, I'm trying to. So what's the question?
Go ahead, so ask me the question.
I don't remember what the question was. I don't know. We went down a rabbit hole. This was supposed to be about Halo local split screen, and it turned into
a whole bunch of stuff.
Okay, so I'll just give my opinion. Back when what's that game? Immortals Phoenix Rising came out.
I love that game, by the way.
I love that game. I remember how excited I was to jump into it. I bought it digitally on my PS5. and I fired it up, and my smile slowly melted off my face when Ubisoft told me that I could not play the game that I just purchased with my money until I signed up for an Ubisoft account. And I will never forget the outrage I felt. I'm like, so let me make sure I got this straight. I just paid money to purchase your game, and you will not allow me to play to consume the product that I spent my money on until I open an account. And I can't get a refund because I bought it digitally. This was right when I learned about PlayStation's return policy. And I was like, so I can't return it because I've already downloaded it and fired it up. So you literally have me, and I have no choice but to either sign up for this or be stuck with just a game that I can't play. So I resented that, and I never, I never forgot about that. And that was the day that I went from being, because I used to play every Assassin's Creed up to Origins. I played all of them, and I consider myself moderately speaking, a fan of Ubisoft. I had more of their games than any other studio, and I went from being an Ubisoft fan to I'll buy all your stuff on sale. And if I had bought that game physically, I probably would have returned it if it was possible to return it. Because just on principle, because it just made me so mad. So like to this day, like, I still buy Ubisoft games, but like I used to buy all their games new. Now I buy all their games on a deep discount because like I just, you know what I mean? Like a lot of people would say it. They're just like, dude, you don't have to buy the game new. Like in 6 months, it'll be like half price. And I'm like, well, yeah, but I think that their product is worth it. I enjoyed, this, like I say, this is before current Ubisoft. I was like, I think it's worth it. I enjoy their games, and that's me. But ever since they did that, I can't remember when. It might have been Immortal Phoenix Rising. Might have been the last time I bought anything from them at launch. And I'm just one person, but like I just never forgot that. And I'm like, okay, so if this is how you're gonna do me as a customer, okay, that's fine. I'll still consume your product if I like it, but you'll never get full price out of me again. I say all that to say, will most people go for it? Possibly, but the more friction, the more unnecessary, annoying friction you put in front of your customer, the less they're going to think of you, and it's cumulative until you get to a point where it's like, you
Agreed.
know what, man, F you. I'm just not going to bother it. I'm just not going to bother
Right.
with it anymore. And then, that's another reason why, even though, like gaming primarily on PC, I'm digital, but why physical games are important because, that's another option the customer has to buy games used. There are studios that I like their games. I may not like them. And if I'm buying on console, I'll buy it used, you know? And, for them requiring someone who's in the same house as the individual playing the same game on the same machine that the individual who owns it, and you're going to require them to have an account to play local split screen, like to me
Crazy,
is
right?
insane. It's insane. Like
Yeah. Doesn't make
games,
any
you
sense to
should be
me.
able to fire the game up. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. It's complete corporate ghoulish behavior, and they just keep pushing and they keep pushing and they keep pushing, and eventually they're gonna make people mad enough to go and be like, you know what, screw
They
it.
they
You
are
know?
united in their ghoulish behavior because both of them are doing it. You need to
Yeah.
give them your email address to both of their platforms. It's just like, you know
It's
what?
ridiculous.
I'm
It's
just not
ridiculous. It's
going
like
to do it then.
everybody's
I'm just not going to do
yeah,
it. This is what's going to
yeah,
happen.
it's ridiculous because it's like you got Microsoft, you got Microsoft tapping your left shoulder, and then you got PlayStation tapping your right shoulder. And it's like, dude, can both of y'all just shut up and let me play the game I just spent my money on? You didn't give me this. This isn't Fortnite. Like you didn't give me this game and then say in exchange for giving you this game, you got to set up an account. Okay, that's fair. Like I literally spent, hypothetically speaking, figuratively speaking, I literally spent this money to buy this game, and now you have this extra requirement. Like, they just, the gamers put up with a lot of stuff. I mean, there's a lot of criticism that can be leveled at gamers from the complaining and the vacuous statements and the nonsense. But gamers do put up with a lot of crap from these companies, and honestly, until people stop putting up with this behavior, in mass, they're gonna keep pushing to see just how much friction we're willing to tolerate.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I got.
And on the Jumbotron, I got me and some friends, close personal friends of mine, playing when they finally came out with it, Halo co-op. We would have did this at launch for Halo Infinite, but I think it took a year for them to be able to get co-op ready. So, which is also like this is at least they got co-op for Halo Campaign Evolved at launch. I mean, but good grief, like, come on, Halo, come on, 343. Like this should have been there day one. But that said, all three of them have their own accounts, their own gaming rigs. There's no additional thing they need to do outside of buying or installing the game through Game Pass, and we all just I send the invite and we all just play. That's fine. But that's something that we have all agreed upon doing well in advance before this game, in any game that we play. Local split screen has always been, oh, you trying to play Halo on Legendary? Bet, let's do it. Pick up the controller, hit the start button. That's it. When Halo 2 came out and they had Xbox Live, and with Halo 3 and Halo ODST, local split screen was not, hey, you gotta go get yourself an Xbox account to play local split screen with me. That was not the investment that needed to be made. And so all I'm saying is that when local split screen is supposed to be different, it's already different because you're sharing the same screen, sharing the same resources, and it plays probably poorly compared to how it should be playing. Having to go through all these extra hoops just to play, just so you can get your extra numbers that your fake numbers. Because again, this person, if they had to create an account to play local split screen with someone, they're not all that invested in gaming. You're never going to see them again. So it's fake numbers because they're not going to help you any further than this. It's just silly. And we can move on because we've been on this for a bit of a minute. But I think that was an interesting back and forth. I enjoyed it.
It was fun. Oh really?
Now, according to the Gaming Circle, shout out to the Gaming Circle, K Asante, Everborn Saga, there was an anonymous and they posted this on their website. They posted an article about an anonymous post on the internal corporate platform called Blind, and where a poster there who's a verified Microsoft employee stated that Xbox is poised to close down Compulsion Games, Ninja Theory, World's Edge that makes the Age of Empire games, Double Fine, and stopping work on Flight Simulator, Microsoft Flight Simulator, which is being developed by Asobo. Now there was also this person said that they are going to lay off approximately 1,000 employees across all studios. So there has been a lot of discussion about this. A lot of people saying this is fake. Why are people even talking about it? But even in their discussions about it being fake, they are mischaracterizing what has been said. That 1,000 people are saying, well, if you add all the studios that they're saying that they are being closed down, that wouldn't equal 1,000 employees. Well, they say 1,000 employees across all studios, which they clearly have more than 1,000 employees in all their studios combined. People are saying, well, they don't own Asobo, and Asobo develops for Flight Simulator. So how can they close the Sobo down? They're not closing down the Sobo. This is fake. And I'm like, well, let's use our brains here. Of course, they don't own the Sobo, but they own Microsoft Flight Simulator. So if they decided that it's too expensive and they're going to stop working on it, then Asobo is going to have to lay off those employees that were working on that game because they have no other work for them to do. They don't need all these people to make Plague's Tale. This is similar to how what happened with Bungie, which we're going to talk about later. And there could be internally teams that have been helping Asobo with Flight Sim. And if you're not going to do Flight Sim anymore, those people are going to be out of a job. So I mean, I'm not saying that the rumor is true. It's just that the reasoning behind people saying it's not true was very flimsy and just kind of showed people just wanted to just be like, oh, I don't believe this because I don't want to believe it. Even though, like, freaking CEO Asashama said they were overextended on studios. So clearly, these things are going to happen. I just think people are in a bit of a denial and fanboyism and whatnot. Whatever. Anywho, Ramon, what are your thoughts about this?
And people not wanting to believe it. There's such a thing as indirect. So no, they don't own Asobo. They can indirectly cause Asobo to downsize or even close, just like you just said. Directly, no. Indirectly, yes. So like people, I think before people start disbelieving stuff, they really need to just wait for more info. Like you just said, Asha said that they're overextended as it is. And man, I remember when people were saying that they were, they were hoping that Xbox, well, no, Xbox can't afford to buy anything. Microsoft would buy a Sobo for Xbox. A parent buying the kid a new toy. People saying that they,
Aren't you glad that didn't happen?
Dude, exactly. Yeah. Like, they're, it would be a good fit. They have a good relationship. And back during acquisition season, as it was being called,
right.
I'm just like, man, y'all don't like, we all said it. We all said it. Like, anyway.
Yeah, there are people wanting them to buy a Sobo. People wanting them to buy Sega, wanting them to buy Capcom.
Sega, Capcom.
In light of what's happening right now, all those acquisitions would be in danger of. It's just like no, absolutely not. Like when they can't manage what they already have, why would you want them to have more?
Well, I liken it to. I had a thing that I posted back when this was back when I was still on Twitter. I would post it. I don't know how many people really understood what I was saying, but every time this came up, I would post in quotes because there was no gift for it. Come on, Bruce. There's still more buildings for you to buy. That's what that's from, right?
No.
You know what that's from?
No.
Remember Batman Begins? When Bruce Wayne was, he was playing up the part of being the billionaire playboy.
Yeah.
And those women that were in the car when he was walking out of that building, and they're sitting in his sports car, and they're yelling, "Come on, there's still more buildings for you to buy." And that's how they look to me. All of the people who were cheering on these acquisitions, I'm like, you look like those two women sitting in the car along for the ride, excited because the billionaire is going to buy a new building. You know what I mean? Like, it just didn't make any sense. And so anyway, I went off on a tangent, but Asobo, I really hope they can, I hope that they can get out of this still existing, and then maybe decouple themselves so tightly from Xbox and maybe branch out a little bit more. And I'm not even saying branch out to PlayStation, branch out to Nintendo, branch out to somebody, and not.
Well, that new Plague's Tale game looks really good. It's got a different gameplay. It's not just a girl throwing a rock with a slingshot and directing rats to eat people. So it's
Oh my
which
god.
I know I just really was really reductive on the gameplay. I did enjoy the first game. The second
You
one,
definitely were.
not the second one, not so much. But I enjoyed the first game. That said, I really was
Little boy
like,
got on my nerves in the first
yeah,
one.
the little boy's annoying. The gameplay is probably the worst aspect of it. The story, the characters, the visuals were all very good. Um, Take all that and you got the way that combat looked in the trailer they showed at the Xbox showcase. Like that's what I'm talking about. That's what I want to see. I felt the same way about Senua that I felt about this new Resonance, the new Plague Tale game.
Yeah, same.
So I'm
Absolutely.
hoping Sobo's fine, and more than likely, I hate to see it happen to people, but if this rumor turns out to be true, that Osobo would not close down, as people are saying, but instead they would just have massive layoffs on for the team that's been working on Flight Sim all these years, and then the other team that's been working on the Plague Tale games would just continue doing what they've been doing. Would that affect Osobo? Long term, more than likely, yes, because that what that probably means is that that's less money coming in because they don't have the Microsoft flight sim contract anymore, and what that would then mean they might need to have another project ready in the tuck, especially if Resonance doesn't sell well. Which I mean, I don't know when it's supposed to come out. I don't even know if it's supposed to be
It
this
comes
year
out
or
in
not.
August. It comes out at the end of August,
Okay, that's good. That's not in that
right
September
before the crowning area.
gauntlet.
Yep.
Yeah, that gauntlet of September, that hallway of release hell that everyone's in September. That's not there. So they have opportunity there. I hope it does well because if turns out to be true, they have to do all those layoffs in July and then your game's releasing in a month later. That's a lot of pressure. But um, yeah, man.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Um, no, I have big hopes for them for Plague Tale as the person who thoroughly enjoyed through and through the first two Plague Tale games. This is a really nice departure. It is a little bit weird. I mean, unless the rats come in later, I'm just like, the departure is great. The combat, there being combat in this game is great. It's a nice, change of pace. What looks like a really cool character. But the part that's confusing me is why is it called Plague Tale if there's no rats? Which I'm curious to see if it's gonna. I hope it ties in some kind of way.
Yeah, but
Otherwise, it's not a plague.
yeah, maybe they show up
Right.
later. No,
The rest
Yeah,
of
maybe they
look,
what?
show up later.
I don't know. I never
But
finished the second one. I got like
Where the
halfway
the
rats
through,
at?
second one,
but like
the second one ripped
maybe
my heart out. Man. The second one
um
was rough.
I don't know how that ended, but maybe wherever those
Where the
characters
rats at?
turned out or turned up to be is ties into this game. I don't know.
It will not because it takes place. I think they said like 12 years or 14 years before the second one, which
Mm,
I find puzzling. Why would you say it takes place 14 years before the second one? Because that means it takes place before both of them.
yeah,
Because
because the little boy Hugo
Hugo's
is
pretty
like 8
young
or
in the
something.
second one.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's like
he's
7 or 8 years old. So it's
yeah.
like, why are you saying it takes place 14 years before the first one? Because Hugo is not 14 years old, which means it takes place before both of them. So
Well,
I thought that was
maybe
kind of weird.
maybe that's phrased a certain way because it spans um between maybe it spans multiple years. So like maybe like a third of the way through the game, it's like, and then 5 years later something happens, or like for example in
Yeah,
Dragon Age 2 starts in the middle, no, in the maybe after the first act of Dragon Age Origins.
yeah,
But then
yeah,
when it ends well after the events of Dragon Age Origins because it takes place over the course of 10 years. So you never
yeah. That's right.
know
It's
how.
parallel, but then goes past it.
Right,
Yeah,
right. So if they say it takes place 14 years before the second game, sure, yeah, Hugo is clearly that's also before the first game as well. But maybe they phrase it like that on purpose because maybe you do run into some of these characters at some point, but it's at certain time frames within the first two games. You okay, Forte?
Yeah, I just coughed.
Okay. I'm just letting a lot of
Well, I was
noise
about
over
to
there.
say. Well, no, I was about to when you said Hugh. I was saying Hugh. I coughed when I was about to say Hugo, like in a funny way, but they didn't like it, so they made me cough.
Who is they?
Well,
Huh?
You said they didn't like it, so they made me cough.
Yeah.
Who is they?
The forces that are a part of our universe that you can't see and that tell you we're not alone in the universe. Those forces.
Okay.
So that's what you do when you just want to shut a conversation down. You just go to the scientific side of it that nobody cares about, and then the conversation.
That was nothing scientific about what you just said.
Scientists would never do that, though.
Yeah, they would. Yeah, because guess what? They can't confirm or deny it because they haven't seen it with their own eyes. So they just stop the conversation right there.
Right. In the chat, the lizard people maybe do it. Yeah. So
They do. Hey, listen, they could be. Hey, who said a lizard is a lizard though? Is it just a perception?
The Anunnaki and the Arcturians are responsible.
Yeah.
I mean, you know.
Forte, what are your thoughts about this rumor?
It sucks, but it definitely sucks. But I love Asobo because I love Flight Sim. I actually bought a flight stick for Flight Sim, but I talked to you about this the other day. Ain't nobody trying to spend the amount of money that it costs to play Flight Sim because modules in that game cost they cost the price of full price games. Like I looked at it earlier yesterday after I had talked to you. We were talking about it yesterday on the phone. I looked up some of the modules and how much some of this stuff costs. And I was like, dude, there's modules that cost anywhere from $40 to $130. And yes, and Flight Sim lives up to his name. It's a sim. It literally is used to teach you how to fly. Like if you go to like any of these flight schools and stuff that have simulators, a lot of them are using Flight Sim because it's very, very realistic. To like the next closest thing is DCS, which is more military than anything. But a lot of them use stuff like this and like systems and button placements and all that other stuff is very, very realistic. But it costs a lot because you're paying for pretty much the experience of doing it for real, but in a safer environment. Most people aren't doing that. That's why when Flight Sim came out, people said this isn't really a game. I mean, I kind of scoffed at it a little bit because it is a game. But when you sit down and you think about like how many people are actually engaging with it that way, but when you go to like Plague's Tale, now that's a game, but it's not the game that's been paying the bills for however long since what I think they started with Flight Sim 2014 is the first one that the Sobel started with. I can't remember exactly. It might have been further back than that. They might have been with them for like the whole time, but especially with Microsoft, and it makes sense, especially with the direction they're going in with their cuts and downsizing and how much they're spending in studios. That was pretty much an easy decision, even knowing I feel like it's probably the wrong decision because that's a niche that I don't know who else would really fill it to that extent. But maybe it's not the end of what Flight Sim is. It just might be the end of what Flight Sim is under Asobo. And because it's probably not going to be another one of those for at least another 5 to 10 years. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see Flight Sim again, like a newer one until like 2035 or something like that. Because they just consistently put updates out for stuff that we have now, and they could kind of do that on the outskirts of the engine that's already built in place, or they could retain some of the key people from Asobo to like just maintain the game because they do come out with frequent updates for it, but they don't need to like put a lot of money into the studio to like consistently have them, push out content on a game that is pretty much feature complete outside of some updates that they'll add to it. The bigger question is how's it going to affect them with, titles going forward that aren't made or published or funded by Microsoft. And, that's kind of the scarier thing, because no one is really trying to spend extra money on anything right now. It's like, the whole situation that a lot of these studios that Microsoft have find themselves in the same situation all over again that they were in 4 or 5 years ago, where they're looking for somebody to pick them up, to be able to give them a chance to like kind of, and not even really prove themselves, because a lot of these studios already proved themselves, but show that they're worth the money that it's going to take to keep funding them, to keep making the experiences they're making. And this might be the worst year outside of COVID. COVID wasn't even bad because people were buying everything during COVID. That's why we're in the situation we're in now. But this might be the worst time to be a dev in a financial situation where you can't just bet on yourself and go independent, because I think the ones that can are the ones that's going to thrive the most. And those are the ones that's when this whole bubble finally bursts and we get back to, hopefully a sense of normalcy when it comes to like the development costs and the timelines and how long it actually takes to make these games. Those are the ones that's going to get picked up the fastest, because they were able to, minimize risk, but also still bring in money by sustaining themselves, where a lot of other studios are still, holding on for dear life and hoping the publisher sees a benefit in them to not cut them loose by end of their year. So it's just disappointing to see Asobo be in this situation, because I never thought I would see them there, because I thought they had a longer leash due to the fact that they're not owned by anybody, and due to the fact that they were just doing contract work and publishing rights for a game that you would assume that Microsoft puts a lot of pride behind, but due to everything going on with that company right now, I'm not surprised that anything is kind of happening with any of their partners that they have right now.
I think Asobo will be fine, but I mean, overall,
I think they'll be fine too. I do think they'll be fine.
I think Asobo will be fine as well. The naive, hopeful part of me says that if I was PlayStation, I would grab my checkbook, and assuming the rumor is true about Flight Sim and all that, grab my checkbook, and I would go talk to Asobo and be like, hey, so you have a whole division that is no longer working on Flight Sim. I don't want Flight Sim, but I want a really fun game that would be more of a Flight Simcade, a blend of Flight Simulator, but also a little bit more gamified. And can you do that for me?
That's called Ace Combat.
It's Ace Combat, but it's more diverse than Ace Combat. You can do you know what I mean? Because it doesn't have to be.
I hear you.
It doesn't have to necessarily be a combat game. It can be a racing game, but with like fighter jets and helicopters and you know what I mean? Like there's tons of different ideas.
Yeah. Leading to what they're good at already.
Yeah, right. And what that does is that fills in a hole that PlayStation has, because they don't have anything like that. So I would head right over and I'd be like, hey, so what do you guys think about this? But that's very unlikely to happen,
especially in their situation.
Yeah. All right, well, let's not to be outdone, Sony also
not to be outdone.
Sony also is going through the throes of it. They have revealed that there will be a reduction in workforce. Those are their words. And we spoke about this in previous episodes, but 55% of the studio the Bungie studio has been laid off, the majority of which were working on Destiny and a few from Marathon. Additionally, we got some information out today from Matt Piscatella of Circana. And so, of course, this is just taking into account the United States, because that's the only region that they really do, America, that's the only region they really have any kind of data for. But PlayStation sales were so low in the month of May 2026. It has not been that low since the year 2000. So that is literally
What did they have come
26
out?
years. In May?
Nothing.
Nothing. Yeah, but I mean, it's not
Nothing.
about that. I mean, like other stuff.
Oh well,
Actually selling
yeah.
consoles, selling
Yeah.
software, all that other stuff. Like that's it's bad. Um. So, Ramon, what are your thoughts about that?
Speak your truth, bro. Speak your truth.
Man, it's exhausting. I mean, I feel for anybody working in the industry right now. I mean, I have a friend whose little sister just graduated, and uh, she was aspiring to be a game developer, and he posted on Blue Sky. This was either last year or the year before, and he's like, "Hey, my little sister just graduated school. She wants to be a game developer. Anybody know?" And it's like I tagged in Delhi, so actually this might have been back during the Twitter days because that was I tagged Delhi in, and I was like, man, you want to give him the news in more detail than I could, and Delhi filled him in, and a few other people was just like, dude, I hate to tell you this, but you know I'm not sure what worse in industry you should be coming out of school to go into. So I mean, I can't imagine the stress. If I was a game developer, I'd literally be saving every penny I had above living expenses because like I don't think I've ever seen this much volatility. Um, and the I'm sorry, can you repeat? The layoffs were from
Bungie.
uh Bungie, yeah. As far as Bungie goes, like I said last week, they bought those developers time because Bungie was already like on its last leg to begin with. They were already in trouble, which is why they were looking for suitors to begin with. And part of the reason Jimbo Ryan
Oh,
overpaid for Bungie was to retain the talent. So Bungie got a really sweet deal out of this, a sweeter deal than that jackass with his golden parachute, deserved. So, I mean, I know that's small consolation to those people now, but I would like to hope that, they, kind of set some nest eggs aside and, whatever severance they get, and then they can hopefully land on their feet with another studio or another industry or wherever they can get jobs. But this Bungie was on borrowed time anyway, and like I blame the golden parachute jackass with his cars and everything. Like, ugh, I'm just disgusted. Like, I'm disgusted, and you know I blame PlayStation for the purchase, but again, PlayStation bought them time. So ultimately, it was a dumb decision by Jim that actually helped those people out in the to be employed a little bit longer. But I can't remember his name. But
Pete Parsons.
E. Parson.
freaking Parsons. That
Pistol Pete.
like I hope a chasm opens up and drops every last one of his cars in it, and then just closes back up. But anyway, it's his fault. He ran that company in the ground. It is his fault entirely. I blame him, and only him. um, and may life bring him what he deserves. And that's pretty much all I got.
Forte.
All right, so it's officially here, man. 55% of the workforce gone. Over pretty much the whole entire Destiny team, some of the Marathon team, very small part of the Marathon team, but still, A studio that was over 1,600 people in 2021 got downgraded to 1,200 to 1,300 in 2022. 2024, they went down to 800 people, and now they're below 400 people. They're around 400 people now. That's a quarter of what they used to be. And it's very, very sad. And I still ultimately put all this blame at the feet of leadership at Bungie for the direction that they went in. But I also believe that this was not by accident. I feel like decisions were made in order to put the company into a position of strength when it came to a financial guidance where somebody could purchase them. I think they made themselves look like the fat cat at the party, you know, because they wanted, you know, they knew the dire straits they were in. It's very well documented that, you know, Destiny on multiple occasions had to come and save the day for Bungie in order to keep the doors open. And they, you know, had to come out with some of the best content they ever made in the game in order to, you know, bring confidence back and breathe life back into the studio, because they on multiple occasions almost shuttered the company because of, like SloMo always talk about, just the amount of money it took to, you know, make Destiny what Destiny was. But, you know, at the end of the day, no one told you to spin up 4 incubation projects in order to, you know, try to diversify your portfolio. Nobody also told you to split off a good portion of the main contributors to your game, Destiny, that was paying all of your bills at that point, you know, in order to build a second game like Marathon that was not going to be something that was in the wheelhouse of a sure thing. Like, you know, it's already hard enough to bet on sure things, especially in gaming, because there really is no guarantee that yours is going to be the thing that's going to stick. But they have the past, present of all of the stuff that they made, and know that, hey, we're one of the best FPS developers out there. We know how to make a experience that, you know, the 30 seconds of fun. We know how to keep people engaged when it comes to our fast pace, you know, gameplay, you know, very flamboyant gameplay, things that we can do to kind of get people like to engage in like arena shooters again, because, you know, for the most part, arena shooters are like, they come and go like the wind, and none of them really stick like that anymore. But they knew how to do it, but they chose this. They chose, you know, Marathon. And the fact that SloMo's playing Marathon, and I've never booted this game up a day in my life, and I put over 7,000 hours in Destiny, is crazy. But I never.
This is the same beginner mission footage I've been using every time we have this topic.
And guess what? That is the only time. And guess what? I know, and that's the only time you played it. And guess what? I've never even seen the menu for Marathon. It's crazy. I am the target audience technically, and I just refuse to do it. But I will say, I will go in a slightly different direction when it comes to Blame 2. Because just like Microsoft understood the burn rate at Bungie was so high, and to the point where Phil Spencer in an interview talked about why they did not purchase Bungie. And he, in his words, says their burn rate is too high. Like, if we're talking about a company that, you know, mismanaged everything when it came to their own first party studios, but they had the foresight to say, as much as it would be an amazing story, and it would have been an amazing story for Bungie to come back home, come back to where it was all built at, where all your success mostly was at, outside the little success you had over there with Activision. It would have been a great story for them to come back and say, you're back with Microsoft. But Microsoft was like, oh, nah, bro, you are spending way too much money for the amount of money that you are putting into that game and getting out of it. And PlayStation folded. We talked about on these podcasts for months, almost a year, maybe 2 years. Like, if this deal goes down, what is PlayStation going to do? PlayStation has to respond. What studios are they going to buy? And when it got to the point where it was more of a finality that it was going to happen, it just came down to how much PlayStation was going to lose in the fact of it. Like, were they going to still be able to have the games? It went from stopping the deal to like, okay, well, this is irreparably going to hurt our platform if Microsoft owns it, because they could pull it off or something like that. And it became like, okay, we got to damage control this as best as we could. And then that's when the purchase of Bungie happened, because they had to make a move. Their player bases wanted them to do it. And guess what? They all celebrated. And I remember a video that I made, and I said, when they said, I said, well played, Sony. You paid all this money for a studio that you don't have any rights over when it comes to their games and stuff at this point. Like, they still had all the rights to their games. They had first the right refusal on where their games were going. And, at the end of the day, I even said it, and I think SloMo made a really good argument about it. Like, we don't know what the contract said, but I said, I guarantee you, and SloMo said the same thing, I guarantee you that if they jack up, Sony could take over. And I said, oh, absolutely. They just don't think, but at that point, nobody thought Bungie would drop the ball this bad. Like this is unprecedented how bad this is. But they spent up all these projects, and guess what? Pete Parsons got a bag out of it. He got Sony to commit not only $2.5 billion to buy the studio, he got them to spend an extra 1.1 just to keep the talent. So
what's the made pigeon? Turn PlayStation into a custom made pigeon.
Brother, and that is probably worse than the whole situation where they panicked and had to buy them. The fact that they overpaid for it. So with that being said, I won't even blame some, because they were in a situation and they had to act and people wanted them to act. But the thing that got me, and I read it to SloMo yesterday, when Bungie came out with their statement about everything happening in their incubation projects, and then that irritated me, because I was like, what incubation project? You ain't got nothing. They ain't greenlight anything. So you're lying to your player base again. Because, I won't say that, because we don't know 100%, so I won't say lie. We don't know what 100%, because the rumor are from all of the people that are in the know, supposedly, Paul Tassi and Jason Schreier, that there's nothing greenlit for them. So we can only go off of that. And usually when they speak, those type of things are true. But then Sony came out and said the same thing. And they said, when they said Marathon is a place in our portfolio that we want to nurture and all this other stuff, and they said, and we're liking what we're seeing from the incubation projects that Bungie has spun up, and we want to help support that. I was like, wait a minute, bro, you ain't greenlight anything. So I was like, so dude, you're just lying to lie at this point now. I said, then I told SloMo said, he was like, bro, this studio is going to be gone by this time, like next year or the year after. And I truly believe that at this point. It's like they're just winding down that studio to the point where they can just get everything that they want out of it, get the benefits of everything that's going on with it, and then just move on. Because people talk about how this might be revenge on PlayStation. I wouldn't be surprised because you took them for a ride, bro. You took a prideful company, prideful people, and took them for a ride for $3.6 billion. And you think that they ain't going to react the way that they reacted?
But who would it be revenge against? Because the fool who did it is gone.
Well, it doesn't matter at this point because they look at it as like they even said in the statement that they're going to move some of the people over to support studios like SIE, studios that people can move over to. So Bungie is still, I do believe Bungie is going to disappear at some point. It's like, because at what point does Bungie mean anything if the people aren't there? Those people that are worth saving, they're just going to end up at another Sony studio, making games that, is going to probably make them more happier than the situation they were dealing with at Bungie with the management that they had in place. The fact that Hiroki Toki came in there and said all of those things about Bungie when they had that quarterly earnings meeting, and he talked openly about they got a spending problem. Guess what? The spending problem started way earlier than you started, but then you purchased them. And that's the unfortunate truth. So I blame Sony at the end of the day for the end part, because at the end, you just need to tell people what it is. Just like you cut Concord off at the knees. I understand that Bungie is a huge impairment loss. You already downgraded them $700 million, but you can't tell me a studio that you valued at 3.5 billion or 2.5 billion as a studio with 400 people left on the coffer. When you bought them, they had 1,600. So you're trying to tell me that Bungie is still worth $1.7 million as a studio that it is today, when you purchase a studio called Insomniac for $220 million and you got more output from them than Bungie's ever giving you? It's crazy, but like you said, Ramon, it really comes back to the end of the day. Bungie was shot in their foot by leadership, by greedy people that wanted to fatten their pockets. And they took Sony for a ride to get them to where they are now. And there should be an audit against all of those books. And there should be a court case put against and levied against those people that put this situation where it is now. But guess what? That's probably never going to happen. They're just going to wash their hands of it because they're not going to want to spend more money on an asset that is deflating right before your eyes.
I'll finish this topic up, and we can get into our main topics by saying this.
That was a rapid fire steal.
Yeah. We're doing musket fire today. This is musket fire. Shoot one shot. Take the little iron rod out. Put the gunpowder in. Use the rod. Stuff the gunpowder in. Get ready to fire again. Start the whole 45-second process to shoot your one bullet again. That's what we're on, with the rapid fires today. Look, I'll just finish it up by saying this. A month ago, I said that this was going to be the eventual end result. I wasn't trying to be mean. I wasn't trying to be callous, even though that's how Destiny fans were about all the other looter shooters that died. They laughed and said, "Oh, look at us, we're fine. Look at we still got our game." What do you have now? You have nothing.
We still got a game. Our game's still live.
No, your game's dead.
It's still live.
Your game is dead when they don't make new. When they say we're not making any more new content, your game's dead.
Well, it's undead. It's undead.
Exactly. There you go. See, undead. Yep. It's just it didn't die.
It's dead. It's dead, Jim. Anyway, look.
Your game was dead until they came out and said they're making a third one.
All right.
See. This is what I'm about. This is what they do. Your game is dead. No, my game's not dead. My game just had a content release.
Your game is alive again. Your game
is alive again. Division 2 just had a content release. And
how long ago was that content release?
A month ago.
And how long it's been since the last one before that?
3 months before that. They do a content release every 3 months.
And what was that content release?
Seasons, essentially.
What season are they on now?
I don't even know. It's ridiculous. It's been out since what, 2018. So I don't know what season it's on. But regardless, they're making the Division 3.
Yes, they are, and I'll play it.
And they're not making a Destiny 3. So that's the point. Now, I said showing up for this last content release when you haven't shown up in a long time, and even when the Destiny community was at its height, it wasn't enough for them to be profitable. It's not enough to convince Sony to make a Destiny 3. We now have the confirmation now that that's exactly how they feel. Because if they were going to make a Destiny 3, they wouldn't have laid off 55% of the company. So it is what it is. I'm not going to say it sucks to suck, but that's because that'll be a bit
to suck. I'll say it.
It's a bit mean because the devs out there, it's not their fault.
No, this ain't got nothing to do with the devs. The devs did their thing. It's all about what happened above the devs and how the company was steered, and it's just disappointing because it didn't have to be this way. There was a way to make Destiny a more long-standing game and more fruitful in the eyes of PlayStation, but that got wasted over the course of the last 4 years.
So, I hope Marathon makes a turnaround. I doubt it. Typically, when these games, after like a few months, it's very rare that
right now.
After a few months, typically a game what it has is just either maintains those numbers or it just goes down. Like very few times have we seen a live service game really like do dramatically better, and it's typically because maybe like something not really anything that the publisher or developer did. It's like a streamer, a real popular streamer decided to play the game, and then now like their entire community starts playing it, and then it just kind of grows, and they're like a Sea of Thieves kind of thing. Like Sea of Thieves is basically not doing well from its launch for like almost a full year before streamers picked it up and started playing it, and now it's got a solid community. That's what Marathon needs. Marathon needs someone who's not within the Destiny community, because the Destiny community don't want to support the game. But it will have to be somebody who isn't really into Bungie at all or anything that they do. And it need to be some big streamer to pick it up and go, oh, this is fun. I didn't think about this was going to be fun, but this is a fun game. And then that would actually help the game get a bigger community. Otherwise, it's going to die. And without unless they get something greenlit soon that they can that Sony can really get behind and say, yeah, this has promise. This might be it. They're again doubly cooked. When you were acquired based upon a bad decision that the previous leadership made, current leadership doesn't view you as all that valuable. Like why you were brought in, they don't care about none of that. That's what the old regime thought was a good idea. And now that's why I'm here, because that wasn't a good idea. So now I'm saddled with you. And more than likely, they probably just want to get rid of the whole thing and wash their hands of it. So I think that more than likely that they'll get shut down in a year or two at the most. But
the fact that Marathon got 21,000 people, 10,721 people playing it, and Destiny has 98, and Destiny has 98,004 and 98,004 people playing just on Steam. 10 times the number, bro. And everybody sees the writing on the wall with Destiny, but people still choose to play it because it's the better game. But
it's a very different game as well. But I mean,
it's a way different game. It's actually in a genre that people actually don't mind playing.
Yeah, I don't know what Arc Raiders got right now, but No.
What is Arc Raiders? Arc.
But anyway, we can move on.
Arc,
Let's get into
Arc
this.
Raiders is Arc Raiders 35,620.
Wow.
On Steam.
That's significantly lower than what it used to be.
But guess what? Destiny's 3 times that. And Arc Raiders still has a game.
Well, it doesn't take I forgot the name of that studio. Yeah, it doesn't that studio's making a profit.
Oh, you talking about Embark? Embark can make that game on a pack of bubble gum.
Yeah. Embark's making a profit, unlike Bungie. So
Bungie's burning money. God dang.
Let's get into
Steam is burning money.
Oh man, this is going to get messy and increasingly messier. Our main topics are Steam machine prices, GTA prices, LOL, and then Xbox prices, LOL. Like it's as I was typing these out, I was just like, all these topics is about stuff being overpriced. And so let's start with the first one, which is probably the most egregious. Actually, not even probably, it is the most egregious. So we discussed last week how pre-orders were imminent and pricing was going to come out and so on and so forth. But we got that on Monday, and man, did it not disappoint in how freaking ridiculous it is. So Valve is absolutely getting destroyed. When the embargo went up, and the reviewers that they handpicked to hopefully give them as cupcake as possible kind of reviews came out and gave them reviews that I would say some went lenient on them, but all basically expressed disappointment in not just the price but the performance. So first off, let's talk about the good thing. Starting now with Steam OS 3.8, anyone who wants to build a PC or even take a pre-built and wipe out the OS and put whatever OS they want on it can now install Steam OS on their PC, which is awesome. So that there's more freedom, there's more competition for Windows. Linux on its own is more efficient in gaming than Windows is, despite the fact that because of the lack of anti-cheat, due to the lack of adoption of Linux, a lot of games aren't really playable on it. But the more people who are starting to go that route, the more that developers and publishers who use anti-cheat for their games will start to invest in making sure live anti-cheats working on there, and that will just make adoption better. So that's great. That's all good news. They also said they're going to start working more closely with NVIDIA to improve NVIDIA's driver support, because the vast majority of GPUs out there are NVIDIA GPUs, but NVIDIA GPUs are trash on Linux. And so they're going to help push that along to make that work well. So that's great. Now the bad news. The Steam machine prices are out and the reservation system is out now. They did this, and I think it was smart on them to do this because it was just smart on them to do it this, considering what happened with the Steam controller, where they had a set time for pre-orders to go live and it was a complete disaster. They went live 5 minutes earlier than they said, and people were already, log jamming their servers and their and basically no one could get the pre-orders in. It took like 30 minutes, but after 30 minutes everything was sold out and some people still couldn't get their order in, even though they were trying as soon as they were, things were supposed to go live. So there was that disaster. Now they switched the Steam controller over to a reservation system. Essentially, you express interest, they'll let you know when there's one available, and then you have the opportunity to buy it at that point. And there's a unit specifically reserved for you. They're doing this now with the Steam machine, where you just you put yourself in on a waiting list, and then they send you an email saying, "Hey, we did a random lottery. You got chosen, or you didn't get chosen." And we did see today that they have been informing people through email if they got chosen within the random lottery or not. And now you have the opportunity to buy this overpriced piece of garbage. Yes, I said that it's an overpriced piece of garbage. And I'm going to tell you why. The cheapest option is $1,049. This is for a Steam machine with no controller, and which
Crazy.
storage is only 512 gigs, which, as we all know, is not enough storage. So you're going to need to buy more storage. So over $1,000. This means it's more expensive than a PlayStation 5 Pro, which destroys it on performance. It's more expensive than the Xbox Series X, which destroys it on performance. It's more expensive than the Xbox Series S, which probably destroys it on performance. It's more expensive than the Switch 2, which, I don't know, it might be it on performance. And why is that? Because even though we had the specs ahead of time, this is why I always say, wait until independent reviewers get their hands on it and can benchmark it. Because that little cube, which is smaller than the smallest PC you can build. Most PCs that you see that are tiny or small form factors, they're micro ITX. I'm going to build a micro ITX machine, and that will be my Steam machine killer. But like, even that's still going to be slightly bigger than what the Steam machine is. That little cube, because of the little small form factor, cooling is a problem. And so they had to underclock the machine in order to allow it to be able to, it's already underpowered as is, but now it's even further underpowered because of the small form factor. There are people out there buying, I forgot what it's called. I think it's called a B250. It's like it's a little device that's essentially like the PlayStation 5. And people are just buying that, and then just going to get a 3D printed case. And that thing alone is just $250. Like, people are finding solutions left and right to build either a PC that is a small form factor micro ITX PC that's more powerful than the Steam machine at the same price, or matches its power for cheaper. You're making Valve look really ridiculous out here. Let me get back to the rest of it. So with a controller, this is going to cost you $1,128. They go from 512 gigs. The step up isn't 1 terabyte, but 2 terabytes. The 2 terabyte model with no controller is $1,349. It's a $300 price increase, which, if anyone is tuned in to how storage costs are, you know it don't cost a $300 difference for that additional storage. Keep that in mind when we discuss some of Valve's rationale for their pricing. Now, the highest SKU you can get, which is the 2 terabyte with the controller, the Steam controller, is $1,428. And according to IGN, who spoke with Valve, Valve says they originally intended the Steam machine to be around $750 before the DRAM crisis forced their price increases. My folks here at DPS, what have I been saying for the past year? All those people that said it's going to be less than $500, all those people said it's going to compete with consoles, all those people that did not listen to people who told you, if you took the prices, if you took the parts and you just took equivalent parts and you go into PC Part Picker, you're going to get $700 to $800. They just ignored that. All the people who ignored the fact that Valve told y'all from the very start, a year ago, they said, we are not subsidizing prices. We won't subsidize anything. We're pricing this like a PC, not a console. But dum-dums still was like, nah. They're going to price it like a console because they were console warring. Because they wanted to use the Steam machine against old PlayStation or use it against Xbox. Ooh, it's competition for one of those. The only competition that's going on is the lack of brain cells that you have. You got 3 brain cells fighting for survival. And that's the only thing that's going on in your brains for you to completely ignore exactly what they've been telling you for over a year, to go with these dumb narratives and then be dumb shocked when they come out and it's dumb expensive. It wasn't going to be expensive simply because of the DRAM prices. That just made it even stupider. It was going to be too expensive for the hardware anyway. But here we are. So, my rant out of the way. Forte, how do you feel about the Steam machine and its prices?
I feel like my PC from 2019 is better than this. And my CPU and motherboard and RAM didn't cost even nowhere near the price of this. Now, granted, times have changed. Times have changed because stuff is way more expensive now. But you can still build, like, bro, I'd rather build a PC and spend a little more money to get 100 times more performance because this thing is not it. This thing's not it. I was like and I was right there with you. So I was like, anybody that think this thing, and you know me, I'm always Mr. Optimistic when it comes to like, it's gonna be this, it's gonna be that. But I told people like out the gate, I said, bro, if you think this thing gonna be less than $1,000, you smoking.
Bro.
I said, remember what the old Steam machines came out
They're
at?
not even smoking, they were snorting.
Duh, the old Steam machines were like $600
hold on. No. I need to do this real quick. I'm about to just take. Where the gunshots at? I need some gunshots on the soundboard real quick because I'm sick and tired. I am sick and tired of these stupid Steam fanboys. Y'all the biggest hypocrites in the entire world. Biggest hypocrites. These PC gamers, oh, PC so superior. Oh, I love my PC. PC. I'll never play a game under 60 FPS. That Steam machine can't play Forza Horizon 6 at 60 FPS. That Steam machine can barely do anything over 60 FPS at 1080p with FSR on. That Steam machine getting bodied by not the PS5 Pro, clearly it bodies it, the base PlayStation 5 in a number of games. Oh, now, but it's okay. But you're cool with it. I'm literally seeing Steam fanboys with titles of their videos like, I'm between a rock and a hard place.
Oh my God.
To buy the Steam machine or not, it's so expensive. Don't buy it, dum-dum. That's all. Look, it's okay.
No rock.
You don't
no
need to
either.
give Gabe your money. Go build your own, or just go Google Micro ITX pre-built PC and buy something that's far more powerful. That's already built for you. You can buy it, and then you can blow out Windows and you can put Bazite on there. You can put Steam OS on there if you want to really suck off Gabe. Do whatever you want, but stop being stupid.
Suck off Gabe.
I mean, just Steam fanboys irk me because they don't even understand their own hypocrisy. They literally cap for a Steam controller that is a closed device that doesn't work on an open platform. It only natively works through Steam. But this isn't a PlayStation or an Xbox. Like on the Xbox, I expect that the only controllers that work on the Xbox are the controllers that Microsoft said will work there. Same thing for PlayStation. Only thing that's worked is what we say is going to work here. It's your platform. You made the hardware. But I made my hardware. I built my PC. And your controller doesn't work on my PC unless I have to have Steam open. And even then, it doesn't work as well outside of Steam than it does in it. What did the Steam fanboys say? Oh, well, I mean, it's their controller. Well, of course. Hey, but the haptics, the gyro that I can only use if I'm playing a Steam game. Hey, well, it's no big deal. Just go to GitHub and download some software. The community supports. Brain dead morons who can't tell they're being hypocrites in real time. is what we're dealing with here. And why am I so annoyed? Because after all this, Valve is out here still sending people emails. Yeah, we don't have enough supply. We saw that you wanted to be put on the wait list. You know, you want to get in the queue for a reservation. Yeah, we got too many people, and that random lottery, you lost that. Sorry, we'll let you know when we're gonna have one for you. Even they didn't make enough because they didn't suspect that you people would be so dumb to buy. So many of y'all want to buy this.
Yep.
People are like, oh, I like the fact that I could turn my controller on and it'll turn the Steam machine on and my display. What? Are you bragging about console-like features on a PC? Like you can't implement that now on anything PC related? I can't deal with the I'm okay. I cut one of y'all off. I'm sorry. Go ahead and continue.
I'm done. Your head seems like it hurt now.
Yeah, I'm sick and tired of the hypocrisy. It's just it's ridiculous. Like, just go ahead.
No, money is money, man. People spend it however they want to, and then they want to jump for joy. Like, I'm sorry, the days of me championing. I mean, I never really did that, but it's like even pretending that I actually care is like over because people just do stupid things. They champion the fact that a price point is like you said, ponder me this, ponder me that. You know, I'm stuck in a rock and a hard place. There's no such thing as a rock and a hard place when it's $1,050 for the lowest tier, and you gotta, and more than likely you got a PC that does everything you wanted to do. You know, because let's be for real, the people that are looking at this price point are people that don't really need it. Like, and Steam knows you don't need it. They see the hardware reports. They know
it's a secondary device, man.
Yeah,
no
exactly.
one wants to buy this as their main driving
device. That's the crazy thing. They know that. That is why they're doing this. They said, guess what? We know we're not going to sell a lot of them, but we're going to sell them to the people that can afford it. But guess what? We're not even going to give you something to even challenge.
That's the other thing. That's the other thing that's going to irk me about this. You're going to see so many dum-dums bragging about how this thing is, it's still sold out. Oh, hey, you no one can buy one. Oh, man.
Guess what? They only made 12 of them.
Exactly. They didn't make a lot of them.
They only made 12.
You sell out, they only make like 5, and of course they sold out.
Yeah.
The
Steam Deck, which is it was a far better value before the price got ridiculous. But the Steam Deck is the most successful PC handheld because it was the cheapest PC handheld.
Yep.
And you could get one for $300, a non-OLED version for like $300. And at the most, it would cost you $600 for the OLED version. Guess how? And the most successful, the most sold, still under 5 million after 4 years. Valve does not sell anything outside of their own storefront. And Sony just laid off more employees from Bungie than the total amount of employees that exist at Valve. They're not a company that's going to be out here selling this at Best Buy, at Walmart, Target. No, they're not doing any of that. They're just selling it on their store, and they'll let you know when they got one built to send to you.
Yep.
They don't have warehouses full of their product.
Number 4, you ready? I know it's been 3 months. I know it's been 3 months since the last one we sold. You ready? You got your credit card on file?
This thing is not going to sell in high volume, and they know that. That's why they also not subsidizing a damn thing.
Yeah.
They're gonna make a
Yep.
profit off of every single unit.
And that's why it has a wait list, because they're not manufacturing a bunch of them because they already know. I'd like to share something.
Go ahead.
Oh, please do.
512 gigabyte, $1,509 Canadian. 512 gigabyte with controller, $1,628 Canadian. 2 terabyte model, $1,919 Canadian. 2 terabyte with controller, $2,038.
Good grief, man.
God.
That is
When
ridiculous.
you say that, I feel bad.
And let me get into how underpowered this thing is again. And something that, like, I saw a lot of the Steam fanboys saying, "Oh no, these where they had the power at made sense." Well, first off, they mischaracterized the performance of the machine because they marketed it as a 4K 60 machine. Now they've since then have altered their marketing to now say up to 4K 60. See that, you know, like
the Hollower can run that at 4K.
yeah. Mina the Hollower and Hades too. Yeah, they can run that at 4K. I mean, I can play that on my PC at 4K 240 frames per second, and the only reason it stops at 240 is because I set it there. I mean, like I could probably do 500 frames, but why? Right, but yeah, 4K for some easy stuff. When it comes to Cyberpunk, you're struggling. And here's the thing that is something that's really important that people need to understand about how Valve makes the decisions to do certain things. Like with the Steam controller, they decided to go with 250 hertz polling. But why? Because the majority of the controllers that are being used on PC overall are like the Xbox controller. But that's not like, but you're charging more than what Xbox charges for that. If you charge a premium price, people expect a premium performance. When to get to the Steam machine, they use the Steam survey of what is the most popular GPU and CPU combinations, the most amount of RAM, you know, all that to basically determine of how they would build the Steam machine. And they have come out and said, "Oh, well, the Steam machine is more powerful than 70% of the PCs that are being used out there." But those people who you're better than or just play games that are like 2 decades old. They're playing old stuff that's easy to run on integrated graphics. Furthermore, you're primarily selling this in regions like the United States, but you use Steam survey, which is global. So you getting added into your Steam survey are people who live in places where they don't have all that access to all the hardware that we do in North America. So you're selling a product that's completely out of whack with power to performance in a region where if you localize what people are using in that region, it's far more powerful than this. It's just taking data and using it incorrectly. And I will go back to what I said before. They should just not have released this.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted to release it last year, but you know the DRAM crisis forced them to try to look for DRAM, and this is the best they could do, right? But it was going to be underpowered last year. You got like a 3-year-old GPU in there and a 4-year-old CPU in there, and you got 8 gigabytes of VRAM, which is not enough. I don't care how much you of optimizing you're doing of Linux and for VRAM usage, it's still not going to be enough. It's not enough now today Imagine how much worse it's going to get as time goes on. Think about this. In 2026, this is not good performance where consoles are outperforming it. It's going to get worse as games become more difficult to run. When Unreal Engine 6 comes out, when next generation launches, this thing machine is going to look awful in comparison. It looks bad now. It will get worse. These are egregious decisions. There was something else I was going to say, but I forgot because I'm just disgusted by this entire thing. But does anyone else have anything else to say about this? Oh, actually, here's a question. I think I already know the answer. Are you guys buying a Steam machine?
Oh yeah, I got one on pre-order.
I do not believe that one bit.
Oh, you don't believe you don't believe I want to buy something that costs more than when I built my 4070 before I replaced it with my 4080, and my 4070 curb stomps it to death, and we ain't gonna even talk about my my current build. Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
I mean, maybe at 920p to get above 60 frames, but anyway, nope, not buying it.
Forte?
I'm good.
Cool. Hey, look, if you're interested in something like a Steam Deck, like the use case makes sense. You want something to kind of have like not as a main device, but something that you could play PC games on as a secondary device. One that you want to put on the PC that you want to have. Now I do remember what I wanted to say. If you want something like that, I'm no longer going in on the Steam fanboys. I'm just speaking straight up. You can do far better with your money. Go on Micro Center. Micro Center actually sells some really good, sometimes on sale, micro ITX, like budget to mid-range PCs that are not going to blow the doors off with performance, but they outperform that thing. And they're the same price or cheaper. You can do so much better. And just do a little bit of tweaking, and twerking, and you can get the same kind of features that you're getting from this Steam machine. You can put Steam OS on it. Like Valve literally gave you the opportunity to put Steam OS 3.8 on there. If you want to do that, or Bazite, which is better, fine. But you can get the same features. You want to own the Steam controller that's only useful through Steam OS, go do that. And you can have the same everything that the Steam machine provides you, but actual good performance or decent or acceptable performance. And that's the whole thing about this that makes it so ridiculous, is that there are bonuses, there are positives and negatives to every platform. With PC, it's great power, but it's expensive for that. If you want the premium performance, you gotta pay a premium price. For consoles, it's subsidized. It's got a lot of like ease of use kind of features built into it, but it's not going to perform as great as the best PCs out there. But it's cheaper. There's positives and negatives to everything. Somehow Valve has encapsulated all the negatives of both platforms. It's more expensive than consoles, but not as powerful as a console. It's expensive
Yeah,
like a PC, but it ain't got the performance of a PC. Then what good is it?
and
It's
I'd also
useless.
I'd like to add also, for those who might say that they want to play their Steam games on their TV. Now, it is undeniable that the small form factor makes it very attractive. However, if you do have the space, I am a perfect example. My 4080 Super PC sits opposite my OLED TV from my PS5 and Switch 2. It is hooked up to my home theater system, HDMI 2.1. I have it so that when I boot my PC up, it goes straight into Steam Big Picture mode, and I control it with my controller wirelessly. The only the biggest difference between the console experience and the PC experience is, I mean, of course, every once in a while you got to do something like update a driver. There might be a technical hiccup. 99% of the time it works fine for me, but there's no suspend like when I'm playing a game on PlayStation. I can suspend it and then I boot it up and it's instant right back into the game. So I don't have that. Aside from that, having to boot my game every time I turn it on, the experience is, I would say, 99% of the time it is about 99% or 98 to 99% similar to the console experience the way I have it set up. So even the living room TV thing isn't even an advantage of this machine. So yeah.
Yep. Well, let's move on to the next disaster. Although the game may live up to expectations, the pricing and what Take Two is trying to get away with, and some of the stuff they doing is pretty unprecedented. Take Two and Rockstar have revealed the price of the Grand Theft Auto 6. It will be $80 for the standard edition and $100 for the ultimate edition. But if you've been really paying attention, you understand that the actual standard edition is the ultimate edition at $100, because the standard edition has things that are locked away from you. And initially, it was like, oh, cosmetics. Oh, well, Lucia's got braids and the cute outfit that you're not going to have. Okay, whatever. Like outfits is fine. But then you come to find out that there are exclusive vehicles for the Ultimate Edition, exclusive weapons for the Ultimate Edition, exclusive apparel, but it also exclusive garages, exclusive stores. And best believe if you get this game on the standard edition, which is $10 more than what the standard price is in today for a full price game, you're gonna see stores and you're gonna want to walk into that store, and then the game's gonna be like, you don't have the ultimate edition. If you want to upgrade to that, give us $30. Yeah, $30, not 20, because if you should have got the ultimate edition the first time, brokey. But that's essentially how they're going to treat you. GTA 6 Online would not be a part of the game at launch, which I think most people who are familiar with Rockstar and Grand Theft Auto were aware of that ahead of time anyway. But like they didn't give us a date of when GTA 6 Online would start, but who knows? It could be 2027, considering this comes out in November, or it could be in December. We'll have to see. I would say probably 2027, just to make sure it's good to go. But I want to talk to Forte about this, because I feel like Forte has a lot to say. And also, I know with Forte's wife being the massive Grand Theft Auto fan that she is, that he had no choice. He had to spend money.
Oh yeah, I had no choice.
Yeah. So the floor is yours, sir.
So, this is wild, bro. First of all, let's talk about, before we even get into the whole differences between $80 and $100, let's just talk about the tomfoolery of being a company that is so big and their game can go without doing any wrong, that they can literally say, we're just going to put out a digital version of the biggest game that you'll ever see in probably our generation, and say it's going to be digital only, and we're going to put a code in a box. And the rumors, and I think this is true, and the rumors are they're only doing that is because they want to stop leaks. Now, don't know any other studio that could probably do that and get away with it and be like, yo, listen, you're going to make people go out and buy the game because you're afraid that it's going to leak at the retail or at the distribution level, which 90% of the chance it probably will, because that's usually how all this type of stuff happens. That game is too big for somebody not with sticky fingers to get their hands on it and leak it out. But we got to pay for it that way. We got to pay for the sins of the person that didn't even do it yet in order for this to happen. Okay, I understand that. But you're going to make people double dip because there's going to be some idiots out there that's going to double dip on the console just to get a disc. Okay, whatever. Now, let's get to this whole $80 versus $100. Now, of course, well, first of all, I pre-ordered the $80 version because my wife wants the case, so I couldn't just buy it on the system. So I had my wife has all the Grand Theft Autos, and even if it doesn't come with a case, I mean, even if it's not a disc in it, she wants the case to go on the shelf. That's fine. So, but we're not even taking pre-orders on the $100 version. Like, they're like, yo, listen, you can't even get the $100 version at retail. You can only get the $80 version there. If you want the $100 version, you got to come straight to the website. Straight to the console, get it there. And they do give you the ability to upgrade it later, so you can get the retail version and still do it the same way. But this store thing is wild. Being the fact that you can, there's like the same game, and this hasn't been 100% confirmed yet, but the way I'm thinking this is going to happen, because I don't think they're going to make the stores disappear or the shops disappear in the game. It's like an illusion. It's like a mirage. If you don't have the $100 version, you can't see it. It's like real, like it's like I'm looking at heat stroke in the background. They ain't gonna do that. They're gonna tease you to death. They're gonna show you the store. You're gonna see, what is that one?
Exactly.
Like,
I
see it in the game.
I envision a superimposed letters that just float in the air. As you try to walk in the store, it's going to stop you and
like
say,
a bat signal.
Say, you cannot access this store. You must have the Ultimate Edition. Click here to upgrade.
Yep.
That's what you're going to see.
Yep. And guess what? And there's gonna be suckers, I will say that will do it just to get 50 extra tattoos for their character. And then if you want to go to the salon, they showed you some of the best salons. But the biggest thing that I find real egregious, and it works, and we know it works, is the fact that they did all of this by just pulling out a sizzle reel of a whole bunch of art of the game that literally had, now yes, people were upset about it, but people were less upset about it due to what they were seeing on the screen. Like, I was looking at that, like, I even called Slow. I was like, bro, they are farming engagement right now with this game. Like, yes, people are upset that, yes, there's no physical copies of it. You can only get digital. Yes, there's an $80 version and there's a $100 version. And if you want to,
they didn't even do a trailer. I thought they would at least have a trailer available. Just some screenshots.
They farm people with screenshots and no trailer.
Wow.
It's crazy. It's wild. But guess what? It's Rockstar. Guess what? And to this day, I will still tell people this game, even with all this underlining crap that's happening, with people being mad and people being frustrated and upset, guess what's going to happen on November 12th when you can preload the game? Guess what's going to happen on November 19th when the full version comes out? It's going to make $1 billion in day one. Yeah,
they're going to make all the money back that they spent over the past decade making this game in one day. In one day. So as much as we can all sit here and moan and complain about it, ain't nobody not gonna buy it again. Now, there's gonna be some people that's gonna stand up principle. Ramon is one of them, because he doesn't want to play it on console. He wants to play it on PC, and I respect him for that. But I ain't that guy, because I can't.
And guess what? SloMo probably ain't that guy either. He gonna play it on console too.
Not only am I going to play it on my Xbox Series X, I'm getting the Ultimate Edition. I'm not going to pre-order it because they ain't giving me no incentive to pre-order.
No
They
reason to
give me
pre-order.
nothing
Yeah,
extra for pre-ordering because they don't care. Because they don't care if I choose to play it or not. They're gonna have billions of people playing this game outside of me. So this is why they can just do whatever they want and be like, yeah, so what? Take it or leave it.
Dude, and then think about it. On top of that, they farmed you with just screenshots, and the most and it's not even and then people didn't even think about it till later. All they talked about was the single player experience. No mention of GTA Online. So you paying $100 for an experience that's gonna give you stores that nobody else can get if you got the $80 version, and all they're telling you about is the single player.
Look,
so no one. So
I'm gonna tell you something real quick.
We're just under the assumption that the multiplayer is going to come 30 days later because that's what happened with the last one, brother.
Oh no, it might not show up at the 2027.
Brother, part of me feels like they're going to charge you for the multiplayer probably.
Hey, you ain't the only. I've heard this from other people before. They think that look. I think the multiplayer may be tied down to a because look, they purchased one of those role play servers, like companies that was doing like the whole PC role playing thing. It's like 4 of them. They purchased one of them. They own one of them now. Now
they do.
How that works is when people with role playing in GTA Online, they basically in the version of GTA 5, they play a cop, they play a drug dealer or whatever they do. Those weird role plays. Look, I've seen some of the stuff is hilarious, but you know, you do you, right?
You do you.
But people pay a subscription on a monthly basis to play that. So guess what's going to happen with GTA Online? I think there's going to be a subscription for that.
Yep.
Look, someone in the chat already said it. They talked about like you get like a free month of GTA Plus.
Yeah.
I don't need no GTA Plus. But maybe now you do need GTA Plus. I'm just saying. Hey, something that I was I forgot. Oh yeah, okay. So this is what I'm doing. I'm getting it on the Xbox Series X.
Not the PS5. Oh, you don't got a Pro. Never.
I don't have a Pro. Yeah.
That's why you ain't got a Pro.
The performance ain't gonna be great on either of them. I think they're all gonna be sub 60 anyway. You know,
they show you all these beautiful up close textures, and guess what? You can be playing at 60.
You can be 30,
45 frames per second.
At the most 40 FPS with VRR enabled. Right. Now exactly. That's it. I get Microsoft points, reward points, every time my daughter on her child account under me loads up Minecraft, which is every day. I get points every time I play Call of Duty, which is not every day, but it's pretty frequently. I frequently get $5 gift cards through Microsoft. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to get that Ultimate Edition. But when I buy it, it's going to be after. It's going to be, I'm going to turn in all those rewards and I'm going to have enough. I'm going to have enough to get that thing for free. Then I'll pre-order it, sure.
Almost funny.
So, hey, I'm going to make the system work for me.
He gonna be like David Chappelle out here. Gotcha, B.
Exactly. I'm not spending $100 on this game.
Gotcha, B.
Well, look, and I'm not gonna get I'm not gonna be driving around in GTA 6. Oh man, I need to get to a garage. I just stole this car. Not this garage. That one's locked down to the Ultimate Edition. Not me. No, I won't.
Not this garage.
I gotta go find another garage. Because I gotta find some other garage for my brokey version of GTA 6. Not me. No, I won't. I'm gonna get the Ultimate Edition, and I'm not paying for anything. I'm using Microsoft Rewards. I've already built up a good $25. All I need is another $75. I got until November. Let's make it happen.
Someone says he about to go work. I'm going to work, bro. I was wondering why you go buy it on Xbox, because Xbox giving them free money.
Like, you want to take off? You want to take off from school today and play some Minecraft all day? You go ahead and do it.
I should say, hey, I should give me free money. I'm gonna use it. That's why I buy it on Xbox.
Hey, look.
You do it while you can before they cancel that too.
Exactly. Yeah, you know, like I'm at times I'm glad our podcast is small because more than likely, like if we were bigger, you know, we were like the Iron Lords out here. You know, there'd be certain people, right? Certain people would be like, "Oh, he can do that for Microsoft Rewards."
Be careful. Sure can.
Let's look into this. Yeah. Next thing you know, we're changing the way rewards work. They've already nerfed it a significant amount. Like the amount of like points you can accumulate on a daily basis has already been capped. It used to be more, but there's still a way. There's still a way for me to build this up, and maybe I don't hit $100. I can get close. I get close enough. I'm spending like $25. Yeah, you know, like I can make it work. I can make it work. So I'm telling you, look, if you have an Xbox,
if you got it,
this is the way. You know, and this way, who's paying for your purchase? Microsoft is. You're not paying for anything. You know, so that's what I plan on doing. Anything else you guys want to say about this before we get into our last topic?
Oh yeah, I'd like to share.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
Okay. Grand Theft Auto 6 Standard Edition, $109.99. Grand Theft Auto 6 Game Bundle Ultimate Edition, $139.99. I will be waiting for the PC version. And my hope is that
price.
Well, I know it's not going to drop in price, but my hope is that the PC version will not be longer than a year wait. If it is, then I will just wait.
I think they may speed that up as they want to get like the monetization off of PC with the role play kind of stuff out sooner rather than later.
That's what I'm getting. That's what I'm betting on. That's what I'm betting on. But regardless, the only reason, and I mean this, the only reason why I'm not saying I'll wait for a sale is because it's GTA and I doubt it'll go on sale for like a couple years, probably. I did not buy GTA 5 at launch, and GTA 5 was the first GTA I ever played. I loved GTA 5. I loved it enough to buy it again on PC. But the GTA magic doesn't work on me like it does most everybody else. And this is coming from somebody who was like mystified. Like when I played online with my friends, and like I had never, it was the first time I had played a multiplayer online with my friends before, with GTA 4 on PS4. And he pulls up in his car and I'm like, dude, this is LAX. Like, cause I'm from LA, in case you didn't know. And I'm like, dude, this is LAX. And he's like, yeah, man, it's pretty cool. And he pulls up in his car. He's like, hop in. I'm like, what do you mean hop? I can get in with you? And he just starts laughing. He just starts laughing. He's like, yeah, dude, you can do that. So I hop in the car. He's driving. I'm looking around, and I'm like, my eyes are the size of like just dollars, like just silver dollars. Like I'm just like wide-eyed, like just mystified. I'm like, I can't believe this. And I'm like, that's the car wash that I used to take my car to back in the day. Like all those locations. So like it was an amazing experience. Driving the equivalent of the Pacific Coast Highway, listening to a radio station that I listened to in real life while going for a drive on a Sunday on Pacific Coast Highway. So, I mean, those were experiences I'll never forget because it was just so amazing. I was doing in a game what I did in real life, right down to the minute details. But all that said, $110 plus tax. I will not be double dipping that, especially for under 60 frames. I can be very patient. So,
I don't blame you, brother.
and $140 for the Ultimate Edition is absolutely not, absolutely freaking not. So, I hope you guys have fun, and I'll see you online in a year or in maybe 6 months or whatever if they speed it up. Hopefully they do. But yeah, nah, nah.
You know, it's funny. You talking about GTA experiences. I remember the first time I played GTA Online, and it was my first time getting in. Like I wanted to play it at launch. I remember playing it GTA 5 on 360, and I played through the majority of the campaign. I think I never finished the actual main campaign because I was going to finish it, but when we got to like GTA Online was delayed, you know, from the launch, and so like I just got busy with other things and didn't get to it right away. Um, when I first got into it, I remember playing with my two of my friends, and one of my friends, Mantis, he had been playing for a little while. He was like level 28. You know, it was still this is still early days. Level 28 was actually like he been grinding in it. And he's like, "Yeah, come, I got a chopper." I was like, "Where? You have like helicopter?" He's like, "Yeah, boy, helicopter." So he's like, "Yeah, let me show you how all this stuff works." So I noticed he had a parachute on his back, but you know, I had barely just started playing online. I didn't know nothing about that. So we get in the chopper. He's flying through the city, and then out of nowhere, he ain't say a word. He just jumps out of the helicopter, and me and my buddy's like, "Hey, yo, what you doing?" And he's just laughing, just cackling. He jumped out the helicopter that he was flying, and the helicopter just starts going down. We don't know what to do. And so my buddy jumps out. He ain't got no parachute. So he just died. He thought that was the funniest thing in the world. And that just and that was basically us in GTA Online. Because after that, it was just like on site, we would just shoot him randomly every now and then just because, right? Just shoot him in the face just because we felt like it. But we used to do the funniest stuff to like we would do a like a mission or a heist or whatever, and then and sometimes when you would come out of like 'cause it would kind of take you into an instance where you could do like a mission or some kind of like multiplayer kind of stuff, and then you would come out of it, and then you would be randomly like they were supposed to put you where your vehicle was, but sometimes they'll put you like across the map, and then you know have your buddies over there where your vehicle is. And this one time, shout out to Numsy. Because Numsy knew what I was about to do. They placed him on top of a mountain, and they placed me right beside my car and his car. And so in GTA Online, if you blow up someone's car, you gotta pay for his repairs. But there's ways around that. So I took a gas can and I just doused his entire car in gas. And then I ran a line from his car halfway down the street. And then I started and then I started shooting the line of gas and set it on fire. And this is the kind of stuff you can do in GTA that like this is where Rockstar really shines because like no one else would think of like these kind of things except for Rockstar. Like you could actually do this stuff. I shot the line of gas on the pavement. And I saw that fire slowly going all the way to his car and just set his gun and
That's awesome.
by the time his car exploded, I was on the highway driving away. And he's like, "Damn it, Slow-Mo, why'd you blow my car?" I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm on the highway. What happened to your car? Don't act like you don't know what happened. I'm like, no, I don't know anything. What you
Oh,
mean?
man, I love
But
I
I'm
love
I'm looking over and I'm seeing that thing on fire and I'm inside I'm dying. It's so funny. But like, yeah, we would do this stuff to each other. But that's like the fun of a huge sandbox like that, that yeah, it takes a long time to build something like that. But this is why it makes so much money. This is why like it's those things that you can do with your friends that is truly unique, dynamic experiences that you're not going to get anywhere else. But um can't wait to, you know, get around and mess around with the fellas again. But
Yeah, well,
I'll
I'm
be doing it
definitely.
for much cheaper price because I'm not paying $100.
Unfortunately, I'll be paying after tax close to 120. But like, I'm grumbling, but I'm only mildly grumbling because this is a case of quality and quantity. And even though $120 for me is, I mean, that's a lot of money. But when I think about what you get for that, I mean, I can't really say it's not fair. You know.
I mean, look, they spent over a decade building this game, so they're gonna want their
Yeah.
money.
So I
But
mean, yeah,
it is what it
that's fair.
is. All right, let's get into this last topic, the last disaster to worry about. Xbox has increased the price of the Xbox Series consoles. Again, the price of the Xbox, the price of Xbox Series consoles that are 512 gigs is increasing by $100. And for the 1 terabyte models, they are increasing by $150. And the 2 terabyte model is being discontinued because probably ain't nobody buying that thing. And they just like, ain't no purpose in increasing the price of this. No one's going to buy it. So let's just not make it no more. These new prices will go into effect August 1st. So if you were thinking about buying an Xbox, and you don't mind the already ridiculous prices that they are right now, you may want to make sure you can get one before August 1st, before you have to spend an additional 100 or $150 to get one. They are also reintroducing the buy now, pay later options that through the Microsoft Store. I think they had that implemented for the Xbox One consoles a few years back. They're introducing that because they know people broke out here, but you want to pay GTA 6? Go ahead and trade in your Xbox One. Finally, get yourself a layaway Xbox Series console and enjoy your game. So they're trying to find ways for people to get engaged with the new generation, the latest generation that's actually 6 years old, and according to Matt Piscatella, actually, I'll wait. I'll wait on that one. Xbox also claims that the storage and memory prices have increased by more than 2.5 times over the past year, and they expect that to double by the fall of 2027. So, yeah, it's just going to get worse from here. And according to Matt Piscatella of Circana, in the month of May, sales for Xbox consoles were the lowest that they've ever been. Ever. Ever. As in, never have an Xbox console sold so little in the month of May than in May 2026. So, yeah, Forte, anything you want to say about disaster Xbox hardware?
The disaster Xbox hardware. Um, it's crazy. Not even 3 years ago, you could buy a Series S for $250, and starting on August 1st, the cheapest will be $500.
The price that the Xbox Series X launched at.
That started at, and then Series X's in 2022, or 2023 actually, were during the holidays $350 at the lowest. $150 off. I remember it. Xbox was selling them for that price. And in 2026, the cheapest Xbox Series S or X will be $750 without a disk drive and $800 with a disk drive, which is typical. Makes sense because of the where we are in the market, but it's like that just lets you know how far detached they are from caring about how many of these consoles they sell. They say we want people to be in the ecosystem, but then they do this. And granted, I mean, they don't want to lose money on it because they're already losing. The Xbox has been losing money on the Series X for, I think, ever since it's come out. So they never really made money on it in general. So it's just like, this isn't doing them any favors with the crisis that we're in when it comes to like hardware shortages and stuff. But I was talking to SloMo about this, and and I understand that you're not going to pull from one sector of your business that you're heavily invested in to like kind of manufacture some hope in another part of it. Because I was talking to him about Microsoft is like one of the main reasons why we're having these shortages when it comes to
it's the AI stuff, and they the main one of the main players in the AI market. They are a part of the problem. Like the other side, not Xbox itself, but Microsoft.
In general.
So it's like you're complaining about storage and memory crisis increases so much. Micron out here making this kind of money because of you.
You're making a bank off of you.
Yeah.
Satya doing interviews talking about the store, all of these problems, and I'm like, this fool's dome is part of the reason why we got this problem.
Exactly.
I'll start calling dome from now on. I can't. But go ahead.
And like I was saying, and SloMo made a good point, and I agree with it when it comes to this whole. Like, I feel like this is a great opportunity for Microsoft to really show that they believe in the direction that Xbox could go in by sharing the love. Like, I'm not saying you got to give them like a good majority of the stuff that you're hoarding for AI, but you're in a perfect position to literally undercut the market right now and make your console one of the most enticing ones during the biggest year that we're going to have in gaming because of the games that are coming out this year. And guess what? They're not going to do that because they don't they don't believe in the console as much, and that's the problem. You see, and this goes back to the conversation we were having, back in February, March, April, May, June, every month pretty much. All of these things that they're talking about and all of these moves that Asha says she wants to make. Yeah, she made some really good moves, but those were all easy. Removing Copilot is easy. Gamers told you they didn't want it forever. People not wanting to pay $30 for Xbox Live. Guess what? People were unsubscribing at record pace. So, pulling Call of Duty out of Game Pass. Guess what? Duh. Microsoft don't want to keep losing money. They don't, listen, I love shout out to King. Shout out to the Iron Lords. King did an interview with somebody and said, you don't give free tickets to a Michael Jackson concert. That's what you did with Call of Duty. You gave everybody you gave them the free admission with the ticket they already had for the last 7 years and said, guess what? Person that don't play Call of Duty like that, we're going to give you the opportunity to play it as much as you want for the price of your subscription. And some people that were smart just got it just picked up Call of Duty and didn't buy it that year. So
that was me.
Exactly. SloMo usually buys it every year. And guess what? He didn't buy it. He just paid a subscription fee.
I haven't bought it the past 2 years.
That was already paid for because he's a smart investor when it comes to his money. And
guess what I'll be doing for Modern Warfare 4?
Yep.
Yes, I'm buying it on BattleNet.
And that hurt them. And guess what? It wasn't hard. It wasn't hard to remove Call of Duty from there. Guess what is hard? Talking about what you're going to do with all these layoffs, talking about what you're going to do with all these studios, talking about what the direction of the console is going to be, talking about what the next 90 days is going to be like. It's not hard to raise prices on stuff, especially in the economics that we're in right now, but it's hard to show people that you care by giving your company, a subsidiary of you, the ability to fight back. But they're not going to do that because they don't care about the console as much as they keep telling people they do. This isn't an Xbox thing. This is a Microsoft problem, and Microsoft causes it by not allowing them to be able to flourish And I feel like at this point, I want them to split off. I do. I never thought I would ever say that,
They
but I
can't
feel like
survive though.
and that's the thing. But I also feel like it's not going to survive in the pressure cooker that Microsoft has them in right now, because guess what? You have a 3% accountability.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
that
I
means
mean,
you're not even making a dent.
so split off comes in a various different like scenarios. There's them becoming a subsidiary, which is still they're still owned by Microsoft, and they're still subject to be getting help from Microsoft, but it looks a little different. And now they gotta be a little bit more open with what the numbers are. They can't just be hiding stuff in different parts of the ledger. But it also gives Microsoft a little bit of flexibility away from them and kind of not having some of the stuff like the hardware that causes a problem be a bigger focus. They won't talk about that stuff in their investor calls. Though the subsidiary would then speak on those things. They could sell them to someone who's willing to pick up the tab on that, but no one is, and especially not in this economy. That's just not going to happen. And they can't afford to go independent. They can't afford to have Xbox just become its own entity on its own with no help whatsoever. They just can't afford it.
I don't
If
think
that was the
CGV.
case, they would end up like not even making their own hardware completely, which still might end up being the eventual scenario that they won't make their own hardware, but like they'll have to have like you see Asus make their handheld, you might see Asus make the console too. You might see them work, have like kind of like I mean they might end up going the Surface route regardless, where they make like a reference model and everyone else is making like the bulk of what is considered called the Xbox, but it's made by Logitech, Lenovo, Razer, of all people. I just almost threw up in my mouth just saying that. But just, those are the options, but like none of that stuff is really what people want to see. What people want is for them to just basically run the company, run the business like an actual player in the gaming console market. You need exclusives. They like every 2 years they change what their focus is and what they believe the industry is going, and it's just like it's always been exclusive, stupid. It's always been that. You always needed it. It's always been the case for all the decades that the gaming industry has been in existence. If you have hardware, you have to have an enticing way to get people to buy your hardware. It has always been the main driver, has always been exclusive games that you can't get anywhere else to get people to come there. The people who tried to believe the nonsense that they were saying, which was all cope, because they didn't have games that were exclusive that people wanted. Yes, you gotta have exclusives, but you also have to have compelling exclusives to get people in. This is why Nintendo is where they're at, and even if Nintendo has a misstep like the Wii U, they're still here and they're still thriving and doing way better than they were back then. It's always going to be that kind of thing. And so I agree with you, Forte. I think they're just, it's lip service. Oh, we're going to do exclusives. And look, I think Matthew Ball believes it when he's speaking on it. I believe him. But what I don't believe is when Satya Nadella, who has openly stated that exclusives don't make sense to him for the longest time, when he starts retweeting his Xbox executives talking about exclusives, I shake my head. When I hear him talk about exclusives out his mouth, I roll my eyes because I know he doesn't believe that crap. He's part of the reason where they are right now anyway. His initiatives in AI have sucked. And now he wants to be all, we care about our consumers, we care about our customers. All these executives do that when they're in trouble. all of a sudden they care about you and what you want. A year ago, they didn't give a crap about you. All they cared about was what they wanted from you. Now they want to know, they want to care about what you want. It's BS. He's just saying whatever he thinks he needs to say to try to turn this stuff around. And we'll see how long that goes. My bad. I've been cutting people off and monologuing all night. Go ahead and continue.
No, I'm done. Yeah, no, that was it. It's just crazy to see where we are, and it could be 100% avoidable, but you know, you say all these things you want to do, but then you have the power to do it. And you know, like you said yesterday when we talked about it, it's like they're not gonna sacrifice any type of their leverage in the AI business to support something that, you know, they say they care about, but do they really care about it? Well, your actions speak louder than words, because you're going to send Xbox out there pretty much to die, because nobody's going to be spending $800 on a console that came out in 2020. Some people will, but the mass majority won't.
Yeah, the people who are desperate to play GTA 6 this year will. Or the
They
people
will.
who are desperate because the latest season of Fortnite is not supported on the Xbox One X that they have will. Or the next 2K is not available. Like those people, and that's a lot of people, they're going to try to find, but they may also go get like a used one, right? You know, or um, a used Xbox or PlayStation, or a whatever. Like, you know, they may do your buy now, pay later plan or something. But you got to have the units available to do that. PlayStation, knowing that this year a lot of these annual release games and live service games, the biggest games that make the most money and have the most active users on their platform, knowing that those games are no longer going to be supported on PS4, and knowing that half their active player base is PlayStation 4 players, still said that they had to downscale their forecast for the rest of the year with PlayStation 5, because it wasn't about the demand. The demand is there. The price isn't. Even if someone wanted to spend $800, $900, whatever on a PS5 or a PS5 Pro, they may not have the money to do so, period. And it's just like, it doesn't matter that they have the desire to spend that much money. They don't have it. And then PlayStation said that when it comes to them, they're going to supply PlayStation units when they get the RAM. When they get the memory, then they can make units and then they can put them out there. So they can't even tell you a reliable amount of units they're going to have available for a very key time period in gaming. To really kind of get this understood, Gamer Nexus, the Tech Tubers, the YouTube channel, did a interview with Valve about, and in the interview, they asked them about how are you securing RAM, and this was literally their response. They said, "This is where we're at. We talk to them once a month. They give us a price, and we have to take it. If we tell them no, they'll never talk to us again. That's the best you can do." This is why Micron, and when it comes to revenue, is up 358%. Because they're just price gouging everybody.
And this comes competition. And this is why competition is good.
Yeah. I mean, we're in a situation where, you know, like AMD and Intel are refreshing their older generation CPUs because those don't rely on DDR5 RAM, and so therefore they're not as useful in AI. So DDR4 is the way to go, and that's how you can supply the people who want to build PCs. You're in a place where right now where this stuff is going to continue to get worse. Freaking Micron announced they've secured the contract pricing for the next 5 years. You know how depressing that is?
That is depressing as hell.
So that we might be dealing with this for at least 5 years. I'm hoping this for this AI to eventually level out. You know, I hope it ends up becoming something supplemental, but it doesn't take over everything the way it is, and you know, people aren't losing jobs the way they are and whatnot. But like, I need this bubble to pop sooner
Yeah.
rather than later because the way things are going
Mhm.
is just freaking awful at this point. But anytime soon, no. You know, we're looking at like 2028 or further out before things get better. So, yay.
Well,
Oh man.
I'll just say that I mean, outside of everything that's been said, it's depressing. Whatever hardware you have, take care of it and buckle up, folks. I
Mhm.
mean, if you're console only and you have your current gen console, um, keep it dusted, keep it refreshed. Um, you know, if something, I've been seeing, saw a couple videos where the PS5 people were bringing it into the shop because it was running a little hot, and it was because the liquid metal had dried up or something like that. The uh,
Mhm.
the shop the shop just refilled it and then gave it back to him. It was running fine. So I mean, it's fixable. It wasn't the best choice of cooling for them. We're starting to see, but it's fixable. So take your PS5 in if you need to. Get that topped up. Take care of your stuff and
Like an
buckle up
oil
because you're gonna need
change.
this
Like
for
an
a
oil
while.
change.
Yeah, like just
Get your get your liquid
you
metal
get
topped up. You know, go down to
yeah,
Jiffy
like
Lube. Get your liquid metal topped up. You know, times
yeah,
is rough out
take it
here.
to budget console refresher, but um yeah, just take care of your stuff and hold what you got. If there's one thing I can say for those of us who are already locked in is aside from being lucky that we're early adopters for the first time ever being an early adopter, you save money, but also our hardware is so powerful now that we're actually good for this generation to be extended longer. I mean, even the base PS5 is very impressive, and the Series X. I
Yeah.
mean, that's some impressive
Yeah,
hardware, man. I
I
mean,
got a
for what
question.
we bought.
I wonder
Yeah,
because we're starting to see like AMD is finally putting FSR 4.0 on the older generations. They tried to paywall that to just their latest generation
yeah,
GPUs. Now that they see that like they're probably not going to be coming out with a lot of GPUs due to all of the scarcity of things. Also, Nvidia has slowed down. Like we still have it. We should have already had the 6000 series coming out either already or this fall, and it's nowhere in sight. They have always been supporting the older generation GPUs with DLSS, but like they are rolling out DLSS 5 on with all this AI enhancements on the 5000 series cards. I wonder if like PlayStation will decide to put FSR on the base PS5 and then delay PS6.
Interesting.
And then there's Auto SR and then there's and with Xbox and they got their own solution that they've been working on. I wonder if they'll try to implement those things on current hardware and delay Helix as well, because they've already Matthew Ball already said that they are reevaluating Helix.
PSSR on PS5, the base PS5, would definitely go along. Because I mean, at this point, PSSR is catching up to or has surpassed FSR
Hmm.
as far as I've seen. I mean, unfortunately, unlike with the PS5 Pro, with the PS5, it would be software based, so it might not be quite as effective, but it's still better than nothing.
Yeah. But
It maybe get
maybe part of the reason why AMD did what they did with FSR4 is because the architecture. I think was RDNA 2 for
yeah.
the console. So now you allowing FSR4 means that now means that it can work on Xbox Series X and S and PS5 and PS5 Pro. Problem is though is that FSR and it's now been evaluated now that it's officially supported. It's about a good 15% performance hit going from FSR 3 to FSR 4 on older hardware. So you gotta kind of take that into account. I don't know.
Well,
I mean, we'll see. I guess.
that would be interesting, but I mean, even if they can't, um, there's other potential domino effects on this that might not that could be a good thing, and that is developers may have to work a little harder to optimize their games, especially on PC, because um, I think that we're with the diminishing returns we're getting, even if we weren't in this RAM situation, the GPU thing would probably at some points have started slowing down anyway, because like you can only do so much frame gen. You can only do like we're hitting diminishing returns. And right now, in the situation that we're in, people are stuck with the hardware they have. These studios, they may have to, put a little bit more elbow grease into optimizing these games for the hardware that exists. So, um, engines, maybe we'll see more efficient engines. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. But these prices, like aside from folks doing payment plans, everybody is locked. A lot of people are just locked into where they're at, and I mean, it's a situation that sucks if you're on the outside looking in. I.e., you're on last gen console hardware or extremely old PCs. But I feel for those people. It sucks. Um, the bright side for them is that there are still a lot of really nice games that can run on old hardware, and consoles, last gen consoles still get some support. So I mean, you know, even if you're locked out of this gen, you still have some options. But for those of us who are like, we got our lock in on like current gen and semi current gen stuff, I say semi current gen with PC, we got some powerful stuff. So we can hold what we got. We can hunker down and, wait through this storm. Forte, you're the top of the pyramid in this on this panel. You and me, SloMo, we have nearly identical setups, and we can run anything at 1440p minimum, 4K most of the time. So hopefully this
This is
doesn't
also why I
go
think that like Unreal Engine 6 is more of like
a fix of
a
Unreal
half
Engine
step.
5.
It's like a half step
Yeah,
for Unreal Engine. It's like the fixed version of Unreal Engine 5 that it should have been.
yeah,
Because if Epic was able to deliver on the promise of what they claimed it was supposed to do, we'd be good as far as like having performance and visuals really like acceptable for everyone. Like the way they talked about how it was supposed to make things easier in development for indie developers to get like a indie or double A developer to give you visuals or performance that's on the level of like a triple A game. Like that's not that vision has not been realized this entire generation. It's mostly been due to the fact that Epic's tools, Nanite, and Lumen were not performant with current generation hardware, whether it be PC or console, to be able to fully realize that. And we're just now starting to see games that get close to that. But if I kind of feel like, because they haven't really shown us anything outside of the fact that they're saying it's going to have extensive use of AI, which people hate, but we haven't seen anything or them talk about anything about Unreal Engine 6 that's really groundbreaking. Like with going from 4 to 5, Nanite and Lumen is what they kept talking about, and how you could easily like plug and play even 8K assets into the engine and be able to not have to like severely downsize those things, which was turned out to be all cap. Like it does not work that way. You still have to, there's still memory constraints. You still have to downgrade the amount of detail and stuff in order to get it to fit under your memory budget in the actual world environment. I'm not Asian Deli, so I don't know this stuff like I'm a freaking expert, but I listen to devs and this is what they say. Now, all that said, I wonder if understanding where the world is when it comes to hardware and comes to the industry in general and just technology in general. I wonder if Unreal Engine 6 is just a fixed version of Unreal Engine 5 where on the current hardware this stuff works, because Unreal like there are very, like we talked about this before, there are like almost no games or very few games that are on the Switch 2 that are using Unreal Engine 5. And so Epic had to get Unreal Engine 5 more efficient to run on Switch 2 better. So I wonder if this is what's happening. Like, here's a glass half full kind of way of looking at things. The DRAM crisis has caused developers, publishers, and everyone in the game, engineers, everyone in the game industry to actually get efficient and optimize the tools that they have and optimize their games better and basically create a better product in order to deal with the fact that the hardware isn't really going to change and people aren't going to be changing their hardware as frequently as they used to. So, I mean, I hope that's the case, but we'll have to see.
Speaking of money, I wanted to bring this up because I see it going around the internet right now. Reportedly, GTA has surpassed 50 million pre-orders.
What?
50 million pre-orders with an average estimate of $4 billion before launch already.
They already made their money back.
So they
Where'd you see
already
this?
made their money back and then some.
It's a couple of places. It's a couple of tweets on Twitter about it.
That they've already made their money back and the game's not even out yet.
Oh, beyond
it's only been a day. If that's true, it's only been a day, bro. It's not even been a full. It's been a full day.
And that's with one missing platform. That's with one missing platform.
Oh yeah, that's the missing platform. Dog, 50 million pre-orders, bro.
That is insane.
It may, but when you think about it, it's not like it can't happen, because Grand Theft Auto 5 crossed over 100 million a long time ago.
Like, of course, it's one of those things
like
that when
lifetime sales for that game. So I can see 50 million people pre-order it.
Like, rationally, we knew it was going to happen. But when you actually see something like that,
it's like 50 million, bro. 50 million. If that's the dog, I can't wait for Rockstar to put this number out for real. But they said, yeah, Forbes just put an article out saying that it's rumored that it's 50 million pre-orders, $4 billion made before the game comes out already.
That is absolutely mad. Like, wow.
All right,
well,
let's get about it.
We're talking about how people are raising prices. We need to talk about why Microsoft need to go ahead and give the Division some chips so they can make their system cheaper and they can get some of that 50 million.
That's the part that I like. I don't know.
That is such revenue, bro. That's crazy, bro.
But here's the crazy part. I saw. I think I can't. I think it was Shinobi on Blue Sky. I think. Now, if they've got pre-orders of 50 million, it sold 6-1 on PlayStation.
Oh yeah, easily,
Now,
easily.
That's the fact that like imagine all the decisions you made at Xbox that lead up to this moment, the biggest game in history, and you can't take advantage properly of that. All those microtransactions. All of those microtransactions that people are going to be buying, like outfits and yachts and condos, and like all of the stuff that people are going to be buying in this game, and 6-1 against you. Like, just
like I said, it's rumor, speculation until it comes out, but just to see that number is ridiculous, and the fact that it is. It's not even a number that you don't believe. It's a number that I can easily see being real.
Yeah, you can't discount it.
You can't discount that number.
It's the biggest, probably the most prominent developer in the world with one of the biggest IPs in the world. So yeah, makes a lot of sense.
Well, brother, great show as always.
Absolutely. Let's get up out of here because we are closing in on 4 hours.
Oh, man.
And it's nearly 1 in the morning. So I was gonna play something after this. I ain't playing nothing but the back of my eyelids.
You going to bed.
That's what I'm playing. I'm going to sleep. So Ramon, do that outro, sir.
Yo, everybody. Thanks for showing up. Ramon Terrell. You know where to find me. Blue Sky, Ramon Terrell. Just type, or you can just Google me, type in my name. And enjoy your games. Be happy you got what you got. And just, as I've always said, count your blessings. We have nice, comfortable, warm, or cool homes with electricity and games to enjoy in our leisure time. And just celebrate that and cherish it, man. We're very lucky. And you guys have a good night and have a great weekend.
Facts.
Forte?
Yeah, same, man. Great show as always. Really appreciate the chat and everybody coming through and hanging out with us. Appreciate Ramon coming through as always. SloMo doing a great job doing the show, and can't wait to do it again with you guys next week. But enjoy the rest of your weekend. Enjoy the games that you're playing. We will see you guys next week for another fantastic Thursday. Maybe Friday. Just depends on people's schedule. Never know.
Yep. Yeah, I had a good time as usual. The topics were depressing as things tend to be nowadays, but we made the best of it. Had a good time as usual. I appreciate everyone who came out. It's like 30 people still watching us live right now at 1 in the morning. I can't say nothing but thank you. Very, very appreciative of everyone that supports. Hit the like button. I really say this, and it's mostly because I think I'm not gonna say I don't care. I do care, but I don't feel like I don't want to feel like I need to tell you to do something that you don't feel like doing. But maybe sometimes I do think it's sometimes people just forget. So hit the like button.
Hit that like button.
Hit the subscribe button if you forgot to do so. If you enjoy, the conversations and whatnot. Enjoy my mid gameplay in the in the jumbotron. And hope we see you guys next week, live or on the replay. Doesn't matter to me. But enjoy your games. Have a good weekend. Be grateful for the things that you got, because you don't have to have them. You don't have to have a job. You don't have to have a place to stay. So be grateful for everything that you have, and not be envious of the things you don't. And we out here, man. Peace.
Peace.
Later on, yo.
Later on.